who she
Uh,
really is.
oh yeah, definitely enjoyed that one. One of the very few songs I will say from that album that I liked.
You know, the song that I immediately disliked, and I understand
Uh,
Eminem. Eminem records music for his own gratification to
right.
satisfy his own artistic impulses. But with that said, God bless anybody that can listen to Brand New Dance more than once.
Yo, that song though, it reminded me of like something he would have did off of like Encore or the Eminem show. You know what I'm saying? And
That's a
I'm
good
seeing a lot of posts.
observation.
I see a lot of posts with people saying that the album's not trash. I'm gonna tell you that because I've heard Eminem for the last decade that he was dropping trash. But this is, I feel like it's too little, too late. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's songs on the album that it sounded like vintage M, and then there's other shit that he did. I'm like, he's still in that kamikaze revival bag, and I don't know why, because that's never been him. You know what I'm saying?
Could you expound on that when you said that
Like
too little, too late?
when I hear a song like what was it, Brand New Dance, or Lucifer, or even like the skits where he's talking to himself, he's talking to Slim Shady, he's talking to Ken Kniff, the Ken Kniff skit. That reminded me of old M. That's something that he would have did. That's something that he has done. But when you get to songs, the temporary song for me, like I had mentioned, when me and Reg had did the review, why is he still doing songs apologizing to his daughter? Like, your daughter is a grown ass woman, she's married, she's gonna have kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been here already, It's like we've been down this road before. Why are we still talking about? I'm sorry, Haley. I was a bad dad. Why are we still doing that? I like, at this point, if she hasn't forgave you now, then she's never gonna forgive you. That's my whole thing. It's like,
Hmm.
he was at her wedding. I seen the pictures. Her podcast is dedicated to him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Mhm.
not understanding, unless this shit that we the public don't know about. I'm not understanding the whole, you're still apologizing to Haley after 20 something years. We heard that on Slim Shady LP. We heard that on Marshall Mathers. We heard that on Eminem show. He had Haley on there when he was going through that whole beef with Benzino and Jermaine Dupri and them. You know what I'm saying? Like, Haley's song was on that album. We had My Dad's Going Crazy. She was on that song. You know, you get to Encore. He did Mockingbird. He did the video for Mockingbird. She's in the video. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, we already been down this road. Why are we still doing I'm Sorry Haley songs? I didn't understand that. And that reminded me of old M. You know what I'm saying? But he's still caught up in, trying to sound like your favorite drill trap, mumble rapper. I don't understand that.
You know, the song Temporary, that's the song that you're talking about. The
Yeah.
song Temporary
And he had
with
the last
Skylar
song,
Grey. Hmm.
also the last song with a Jelly Roll. He mentioned Haley on that song too.
Yeah. I was going to say, from Renaissance to, I believe, is it Fuel? That's a nice stretch, with the exception of Brand New Dance. That's a good stretch of songs where the focus is on emceeing, and to be frank, he's just, you know picking targets out of the air and just creating elaborate rhyme schemes, just dissing the hell out of them, right? So when it gets to Temporary, it just stops the album in its tracks, because the song, I know, is heartfelt, but if the concept of the death of Slim Shady is that it's a battle between Marshall the person and Slim Shady the villainous evil, maniacal alter ego that's dissing everybody and their mama. I don't want to hear you, weeping, poetic about the love for your daughter.
Right.
It's too sappy. It's too saccharine, for this album. And like you said, the sentiment in the song has been expressed way better on songs like Mockingbird from Encore. It was expressed even better on Castle and a Rose from Revival near the
Right.
end of the album. Uh, but but I will, well, I'm gonna bring it up anyway.
Uh,
But I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is like the 10th song he's dedicated to his oldest daughter.
right.
What about the other children?
That's
Like,
what I said. I'm like, people forget he has other kids. What? But why does he? Why is he like so obsessed with just doing songs for Haley? Like, I get it. She's your oldest. You have other children. I don't see you dedicating no song to them.
but and talk about breeding sibling rivalry. It kind of gives the impression that she's the golden child.
I mean, I know. I get it. People with kids, do they have a favorite? I'm assuming people with multiple kids have a favorite. You know, in their family. I don't have kids, so I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
it's clearly that's his favorite child because you've done all these songs to Haley for the last 20 something years. You know what I'm saying? He'll probably still be doing more songs about her even when she's dead and gone. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And another thing I noticed, I forgot the name of the song. I gotta look back on the track list. There was another song where he took shots at his mother. I thought we was over this already too.
Yeah.
Because you gave us, we know the history, his personal life with his mom. It was rocky. He did cleaning up my closet and totally put on blessed. That was like the first time in rap that I heard an artist call out his mother like that, and it went to number one because MTV was always playing that video. It was all over the charts. That was during the TRL era, and I love that song. That's one of the best songs from M. Is one of the best songs from the Eminem show. And then we get to Marshall Mathers LP2. He did Headlights, and he
Yeah.
apologized to his mother on that song. Now it
And
looks like
Spike,
he's taking shots at his mother again.
and Spike Lee directed the video.
Oh, did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a video for Headlights, and Spike
Yes.
Lee directed it.
Yeah.
There's some behind
I
the
remember
scenes
the video because
footage.
the guy from Nate was in Nate Roos from Fun. He's singing on that song. I remember the video, but I thought we was over this already. Like I'm like, so we're going back to this and our mother now, M. Like, what are we doing? And again, it reminded me of vintage Eminem. But I thought we was over this shit already though.
Yeah. Would you say the death of Slim Shady is better than this album? Hold on. Is it better than this album?
No, I actually have that the deluxe edition. Um, I
Mm-hmm.
think there were better songs on there. Really, when you look at Marshall Mathers LP2, the biggest hit song was "The Monster" with Rihanna, because that's when him and Rihanna went on that world tour. I'm not a huge Rihanna fan. I would have loved to see him, but I'm not a huge Rihanna fan like that. But that was the
Yeah.
biggest hit song on that album. But I do like the songs better. I liked was it Bad Guy? We had Survival, Berserk. There was some joints on there that was hitting. It just wasn't a great all around sequel. I don't feel like we needed a sequel. We didn't. Nobody asked for a sequel of Marshall Mathers. You know what I'm saying? So when he came out with
Mm-hmm.
that, I was like out of nowhere because I didn't hear nothing about the sequel coming out. I'm like he came out with a sequel. I'm like we didn't ask for this, him.
We,
But
like,
I did enjoy the songs more on Marshall Mathers LP2 than on the new one. Like I said, like the new one got some joints. I don't think it's an all around great album, but I do say it's listenable compared to the shit that he dropped 11 years ago. Because I've always been an Eminem fan. He was even in my top 5 all time, and people thought I was nuts for saying that. But I gotta like really reassess that top 5 now. I'm like I love M, but the shit that he's dropped for 11 years, that might take him out of the top five.
It
Like for good.
is
Like I might have to put somebody like Sean Price or Prodigy in that top five instead, because, or even Ghostface. But I haven't liked an Eminem album in 11 years. I didn't realize it was that long, because that's how
is
long it's been since between Marshall Mathers LP2 and this album, and all that other shit he was dropping, Kamikaze and Revival, the Music to Be Murdered By. I didn't listen. I didn't like none of that shit. I didn't even listen to part two of another sequel he gave us that nobody asked for. Music to Be Murdered By 2. Nobody asked for that. So
so,
I totally skipped that.
so is the Death of Some Shady better than this album?
Yes, definitely,
Okay,
definitely. It's better than all those releases that he dropped in the past decade.
better than this album.
Yes. The only song I remember on there was the Alchemist joint, because like I've always said this. I'm like,
Wait,
yo,
from this album?
yeah, I believe there was an Alchemist joint on there. If I'm
Yeah,
not mistaken.
Alchemist produced Stepdad.
Yes, and I love Alchemist. I think he's the best producer in this era right now that's still
Hmm.
doing it. And I said he had Alchemist as his DJ on the Family Values tour, and I said he should have did. He should. What up, Eric? I'm gonna send you the link. I said he should have did a whole album with Alchemist. You have no excuse, because Alchemist, anybody that he's worked with, it's been gold. Whether it was Currency, whether it was Boldy James, he got a Grammy nomination with Freddie Gibbs for Alfredo. He's done the Larry June album last year. To me, that was my favorite rap album of 2023. The Great Escape. He just did an album with a Hit Boy and Big Hit. That's dope.
Hmm.
He did the Gangrene project with him and Oh No. That was fire. Like, he's been putting out anything Alchemist is. He's been consistent. If you do an Eminem, a Slim Shady album with Alchemist, anybody can check that out. There's no excuse for him not to do an album with Alchemist, but you want to do all this other shit. You know what I'm
And
saying?
also, Alchemist is a touring DJ.
That was his tour DJ. Yeah, that was his tour DJ. But he's never done a lot of stuff with Alchemist though.
The ill thing is, like, I think a couple months ago on his Instagram page, uh, he had a picture with him, Dr. Dre, Mr. Porter, and Alchemist in the
Gotcha.
studio.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, okay, maybe Alchemist maybe he produced a song on this album, but he
Right.
didn't.
He didn't, or maybe he did and it got cut. I can't see how that would happen. You got 19
Yeah,
songs on here, and plus he got like 2 bonus joints. That the Primo joint I still haven't heard, but that's a bonus, and it's only on
yeah.
streaming. And then he has another song that was a lot thing like this that was a bonus. But I can't see how, if Alchemist did anything for this album, it didn't make the cut.
Yeah, to be totally honest, I don't understand what's the point. Well, I do get the point. The deluxe edition is meant to, spike more sales and get more money,
Mm,
but only, like, I don't know, maybe only diehards would, have to, they'll pre-save the deluxe edition for 2 more additional tracks. Man, look, I'm grown. Like, let me know when the music is available. I'm
right.
not doing that.
So yeah, Eric wants to join us. Eric, what's good, bro? Can you hear me? Okay, I don't hear him. Yo,
What's up, motherfucker? What's up?
what's good? What's good?
Man,
Raka Bash. This is Eric. Eric, this is Raka.
Yo, what
what's up,
up?
man?
What up, Eric?
What's up?
Now we
What's
talking
up?
about the new Eminem album. Just my
Oh,
thoughts on
oh,
it,
that's cool.
and did you hear it yet? Eric?
Yeah, I'm still going through it. It's really good in my opinion. It got some good stuff on.
It's listenable. I'll say that,
Yeah,
because and I'm actually thankful that I'm actually able to listen to another Eminem album. It's been too long, you know. There's some joints, but there's still some shit on there that I didn't like, and I'm seeing a lot of. I mean, if people don't like it, they don't like it. I'm just
yeah,
seeing a lot of posts where people are saying it's trash. I'm like, it's not trash.
I
I
like
will
it.
say that for once about Eminem. It's not trash. I can actually get through the whole album, but there was some shit on there that I didn't care for.
that's cool.
To me, the reason why I don't think it's trash is because I can tell that he took years to record this,
He
and the
did,
song.
but well, shit. He it seemed like for the past decade he was rushing out each project. Like he didn't go on no world tours for none of these albums. You know what I'm saying? He just like put out the project and then that was it. Then it was like you didn't hear from him for like maybe a year or two. Then it was out with another project. It was like he was going through the motions. But with this album, it was like again, like I didn't know it was coming out, but I wasn't surprised because I'm like that's what he's been doing for the last decade is just putting out stuff and it's like if it stick, then it stick. You know what I'm saying? But it to me it don't seem like he'd been working on it for years. It just seemed like maybe he was
Well,
maybe I don't know. I don't want to say he was tired. Maybe he was. It was just time for him to like. I don't believe he's gonna retire out. I think this is just gonna take a break. Maybe he wants
well,
to take a break.
well, his last album, "Murder to Be Music to Be Murdered by Side Beat," came out December 2020.
Yeah, that
So it's
came out the
been
same year. The B sides.
Right.
yeah.
I didn't hear
So
it. Was it good?
it's been
Yeah, I
almost
like
four
it. I like the
years.
bonus tracks. I wish he could have put some of those on the
See, you
actual
like the
album though.
bonus tracks, but the
Yeah, I like
actual
them.
album. Do you like it though?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, I didn't hear part two. I only heard part one.
I like that motherfucking Toby music video that he put up in there. He had the
A
whole
lot of people
Jason
like that.
Voorhees like type scene with
Yeah,
Big Sean and shit.
right. I don't know.
Proud of you.
That was one of the songs that I skipped. I didn't really care for it. You know how I feel about Big Sean Raka,
It's
you
probably one of
know.
my favorite songs.
Hey,
But I mean, no,
no. I totally understand, bro. Like I'm not. I respect Big Sean as an MC. I don't
uh,
really enjoy his albums, you know, and I'm not a homer. You know, Big Sean. I love what he does for Detroit, but I would be lying if I said I own a Big Sean album.
but let me ask you something because you're from Detroit, right?
Absolutely, born
So
and raised.
at this point, when you look at an artist like Big Sean, is he's been in the game for a long time? Is he on the way to being a legend, a Hall of Famer?
To He's a veteran, but I don't look at him as a legend because I don't see where I don't see his imprint on rap music since he came out. You know, for for example,
Ain't shit on the damn thing.
uh, let's take. I'm not a fan of none of these dudes,
Mm,
but let's take a look at um, a lot of the street cats like T
right.
Grizzly, Icewear, Vezo. They have more. They have the pulse of the streets here in Detroit more than Big Sean does.
Mm,
So when you take that into account, he's respected nationwide. But if you were to judge him by his peers, K Dot has lapped him,
mm,
Drake has lapped him, J. Cole has lapped him. And I saw that he put out a new freestyle over
right.
via Leah beat. And I mean, it has some clever lines, but it's not hip hop quotable worthy. Like what he like in that. You remember the Source magazine when
Mm,
near the end of the magazine they would have hip hop quotable.
yeah.
That's not a hip hop quotable freestyle. Like none of the rhymes that he spit are going to stick to the ribs, and
Right.
even the perceived shots that he took uh, at Kendrick Lamar. You know, ha ha ha. You know, king of the city when your city is gentrified. The problem with that lyric, not to get on a tangent, but every black city is gentrified.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a predominantly black city that hasn't had uh, black residents uprooted for
Right.
corporate interests.
Facts.
And if you go to downtown Detroit and the surrounding areas, it's gentrified like hell. So I kind of gave, I see what he was trying to do, but to me, it wasn't. I wasn't really impressed.
Mike, what up? Salute.
The Alejandro Sosa of the DVD game has stepped into the building. What's up, Mike?
Yes, the DVD King right here, the 4K Blu-ray King.
Kingpin.
Yes,
I'm
subscribe to
still
his
waiting on the
channel.
Harlem Nights.
Yeah. Um. See, I asked that because like to me, Big Sean, I always looked at him like he was like the Midwest Fabulous, right? But he just like Fabulous, he's worked with everybody, you know, from the West Coast, from the East, the South. He's been on a lot of, you know, remixes and you know, I don't want to say classic records, but records that were big in the last 15, 20 years. You know what I'm saying? So,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? He's not one of those artists that's gonna go away. Like he's been here for a minute. I just never cared for dude. Like I did actually like his verse on the Great Escape album because he was on that I forgot the name of the track. It was him, Larry June. He actually sounded good. Like he has his moments where he actually sounds decent. But I don't it's not enough for me to like listen to a whole album from him.
I always fucked with him ever since his Detroit mixtape and shit. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
always
His
known that he
those
was gonna be
mixtapes
on this
was it
own
Almost
thing.
Famous and all that. I remember those
Yeah,
mixtapes when they came out. Those were
I
huge
gotta
over
get
here.
I gotta get some more of his albums and shit on vinyl and shit.
Those were huge over here. You know, like he's done a lot of stuff. I remember him on the Wale Ambition album was also, you know, but I just never cared for him. Like I did like the little project he did with Janae Akko, his baby mama. Was it
I
2088?
never
That
heard
was
it.
actually decent, but they have good chemistry together, which is why they keep doing stuff together. But she was the star of that little EP or whatever. You know, they performed together at Coachella this past year. You know, that was dope.
It was good.
But you know, I never cared for dude like that. So that's why I'm asking Raka because you're from his hometown, and I like the fact that Eminem has collaborated with his hometown people. You know what I'm saying? And
Damn, that's-
you know, he always got that respect for me for doing that. He didn't like, even though he did shit with like other big name artists like Beyonce, which I never understood, and Alicia Keys, but he always put on for his home.
The irony is that for years he's gotten a lot of flack from a lot of local rappers for not working with newer Detroit artists, particularly
Reg, what's up, nigga?
like
Reg,
the
what's up?
like
Yeah, my bad.
particularly like the street rappers.
Uh-huh.
And the thing is, like, the problem with that, he has the respect of older street rappers like Juan,
Mhm.
Big Herc, um,
All I
you
need
know,
is trick. Fuck the rest of y'all niggas. When you be out here dissing folks and shit, I ain't gonna work with you. Y'all don't
and
like
and,
me.
and what I think what I really believe is the source of the tension. A lot of these newer street rappers here, they don't respect. They admire Eminem's success. They admire his wealth, his power, his fame. The creature comforts of his hard work, but
Right.
they don't respect his music, nor do they respect the grind that he took to get where he's at. So if you're Eminem, are you really going to reach out to dudes that have been sneak dissing you
Nope. Fuck
in
y'all niggas.
blogs for all of these years?
Yeah, that's true.
I won't pay no attention. Cause a lot of these dudes don't got the energy to last long in this rap game. And a lot of these dudes probably ain't gonna be around. You see a lot of these dudes get into conflicts, multiple felonies. It's just a lot of negative energy around some of these dudes.
Yeah, and why would they want to even battle him? Because he lived for that. I believe. I think he wants that challenge. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you want to get into a battle with him. And it's like, if anything, why not link up with him and so that he can put you on, he can you know have your audience out there so people know about you. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa, his audience will know about you.
There's a saying that you can attract more bees with honey than vinegar.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like a lot of street rappers here, they are determined to prove that Eminem doesn't really represent uh, Detroit the way they feel Detroit should be represented, and
Right.
and a lot of it, and part of it, like and a lot of it has to do with sociology. Detroit is 85% predominantly black, so obviously Eminem is white. He can't speak from the black experience. So there's only so much, he's been poor, but poor doesn't mean black.
Right.
And I think that's the crux of the matter is that no matter how great he is, there's always going to be people that hold it against him because he doesn't speak to their lived experiences. But the thing is, like, what does to me it would be more insulting.
Classic.
Yeah, classic Pimp a Butterfly. It would be more insulting. Think about it, try bro.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine if Eminem, put out an album where he's talking about being a street nigga, being a gang banger, drug dealer, capping niggas, doing rhyming about everything that a 50 Cent or a Jay-Z or Beanie Siegel would,
Mm.
and it went triple platinum. Wouldn't you be more than peeved at that more?
Well, we've seen Vanilla Ice, who to me was a carbon copy of MC Hammer, and he sold millions, but people knew he wasn't authentic. And he lied about where he was from. One minute you're from Dallas, the next minute you're from Miami. Make up your mind. You know what I'm saying? Then once he got kicked out of, once people caught on to his bullshit, he started jumping genres. He alternative rock.
He
He
did the
grew his he
reggae
grew
thing.
yeah he grew dreads, so he tried to grow dreads and tried to do other shit. So we knew. My thing is with M. See, the thing is, I think people are still caught up on the race thing. I'm like, the same people that had an issue with M, they supported Beastie Boys, and they never got kicked out of hip hop. They in the Rock and Hall of Fame because of hip hop, and they
Mhm.
started out as a punk rock band and switched genres and did rap. You know what I'm saying? And they never got that same shade. The same thing with Everlast. Everlast was a part of Rhyme Syndicate with Ice T. He never got
Mhm.
that type of flack. Blew up with House of Pain, and technically House of Pain will always be known for that one hit song, "Jump Around."
Jump
Right?
around.
I never seen nobody throw shade at House of Pain like that. So why is it when you actually have another Caucasian MC that can actually rhyme his ass off and has made classic albums, people all of a sudden, because he outsold your favorite MC like a Black Thought or Nas, people have all this shit to say about him. Oh, I've heard people since the pandemic say I can't fuck with M because he didn't bump in the whip or they wasn't playing him at the club. Well, guess what? They wasn't playing the Roots at the club either, and you all
They
support
bumping them
them.
in stadiums all around the world. Certain people
Exactly.
gonna get bumped in certain
I've never
places.
heard, I've never. There's no New York City club that will bump in the Roots in the club. The Tunnel wasn't bumping the Roots.
And
Neither was Club Speed or any of those other clubs.
the
But
only
people love Black
oh,
Thought and the Roots. So if you're gonna throw shit at M, how come Black Thought and your favorite MC, Most Def and Talib don't get that same type of shade? It all comes down to his race, and that's still an issue among many other things within the genre after 51 years, and I don't get it.
of all of the people that have out who have publicly said they do not like Eminem's music, I think Dr. Umar has the most reasoned argument. You can, I can disagree with it, but think about it. Dr. Umar is a Pan Africanist. He believes that anything that uh, that Africans, because black, you know, There's no such thing as black people. We're all Africans. Africans.
That's not true.
No. I'm saying what a Pan African is, like Dr. Umar believes. I'm saying we're all, all black people are Africans, wherever you live in North America, wherever you live in Europe, Asia, Jamaica, wherever. Any any culture that is created by Africans cannot be done better by a white person. I can disagree, but if his criteria is consistent with what he believes, then I can only I can respect it. I don't have to agree with it. But I remember a couple years ago when Lord Jamar said, man, no live niggas, be listening to Eminem. He can rap, but I don't like his content. The problem with that argument is that if you look at black rappers' lyrical content, do you think that our parents or people that we know in the church, you think they appreciate hearing rappers rap about drug dealing or womanizing or gang banging? So the lyrical content of predominantly black rappers is no less self-destructive than Eminem's lyrical content.
You know why we have mainstream rap and we have underground rap? Because the mainstream rap could appeal to your parents and your grandparents. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
artists like Heavy D and the Boys or Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Drake. Even my mother would tend to gravitate to those artists in hip hop. Whereas if you have like MOP or Griselda or Onyx, they're not going to hear that.
Yeah,
You know
because
what I'm
it
saying?
offends their sensibilities.
Exactly. So it's like when they hear the opposite of what they're hearing on the commercial rap, they're gonna think like all rap is like that, and it's not. That's why we have different um genres within the genre of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? But that's like
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's just me because like I grew up in a household where there was no racism. My grandparents had many different friends that were different races from Turkey. From my grandfather traveled all over the world. He was in the Navy. You know what I'm saying? So he had all type of friends from Turkey and Spain and all that. And when it came to music, I listened to Phil Collins and Genesis. And Madonna's one of my favorite artists all time. She's not black. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Prince is half white. Nobody ever had an issue with Prince being half white like they do with Drake. They ready to kick Drake out of hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
That
Mm-hmm.
waffle color Negro ain't going nowhere.
You know, he ain't going nowhere.
He
But
might get
it's
his
like they,
mention
they ready
flooded,
to kick
but
him
he ain't
out
going
of the
nowhere.
out of the genre. I'm like I just grew up in a different household where race wasn't a thing. So Eminem to me was more than welcome because he actually got talent. He actually has talent. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like he was some flash in the pan one hit wonder like Vanilla Ice. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think it's more of a jealousy thing with M, and it's still a racism thing, even though people don't want to say it is, but we know it is. You know,
And let me say
like
something about
people.
Bible
There was
Cheetah.
one point where he was like outselling Jay-Z and all. Like people hate to see Eminem go diamond, and their favorite rapper like a Mos Def can barely go gold. They hate to see that, and I get it. But at the same time, let's not dismiss this man's talent. He's been here for a while because he actually has the talent. He's not going to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with a one hit with just one hit. You know what I'm saying? Especially when they don't even want our own rap artists in their call. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? He got in there because of his talent and because of his hard work and because he actually has great music. You know what I'm saying? My issue with him was I don't like the shit that he's been dropping in the past decade because I always say I will always go back to his classic material with from the Infinite album to Slim Shady LP, Marshall Mathers, Eminem Show. Even Recovery and Relapse and Recovery, I enjoyed. A lot of people they mixed on both of those albums. I thought those albums were his last great shit. It's after recovery that I didn't care for. But he is a legend to me. You know, I don't care what color he was, Indian, white, black, Latino. I don't care. And even now with Lord Jamar, this whole talk about Latinos and blacks who started hip hop, I don't care about that. We're hip hop is here for 51 years. We need to be celebrating that and looking forward to the next 51 years. Not who at this point they're still arguing about, oh, Latino started hip hop. It was like, who cares?
No, the
It's
truth
our
need to be
shit. That's
told.
all that
When you
matters.
when you tell the truth about musical history and where it comes from, you got to tell the truth about the history and where the origins come from. When you have niggas like Fat Joe and Busta Rhymes out here lying and not telling the truth, this when motherfuckers got to pull your whole card. And for Dr. Umar Johnson to be talking about other people when he ain't opened that damn school yet, he don't need to be talking about nobody. You had a job to do by opening that damn school. If you such a Pan Africanist, you need to be a Pan Africanist in Africa. If you talking all this Pan Africanist, united, we stand, divided, we fall shit, you ain't doing nothing about that. So for you to keep putting yourself in certain situations that don't have nothing, that don't have nothing, that don't involve you, you supposed to be doing something about the school. You ain't opened the school yet. It's been 10 years. You ain't said nothing about that. This the same nigga that said black Americans don't deserve reparations. But you had the nerve to be asking niggas for money. What type of shit is that? This the same nigga that said he'll fight Mike Tyson for 5 rounds. He done said shit over the past couple of years that just have you scratching your head. So when it comes to black people and black American situations, he shouldn't be talking about certain shit. You should be
Black
sticking to actually trying to teach your people and actually trying to teach people the right way. You should be over there in Africa trying to get them to unify with other Africans instead of just talking this bullshit. This the shit I don't like about him.
blacks and Latinos are considered the minority. Like my whole neighborhood has been gentrified now. It's not just blacks and Hispanic. We have white people that are my neighbors now, and Indians and Koreans. It's all gentrified. Like Raka said, like the majority of these urban neighborhoods are gentrified now, and I think that's the way it should be. We should have, kids growing up in a society where you don't just have African American friends or Hispanic friends, but you have a Korean friend, or you have a Indian friend. You know what I'm saying? Middle Eastern friend or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But we're the minority when it comes to this culture. We started it. You know what I'm saying? And I hate that the fact that they're arguing over, oh well, this race started hip hop, this race started, like, come on. We need to be celebrating this genre 51 years and looking forward to the next 51 years. That's
I
what
think
matters.
people are celebrating it. It's just motherfuckers lying about the true history, and you just can't have people lying about shit that they wasn't there for. You just can't come into hip hop and say that you did this and you don't have no constructive evidence of it. When it comes to people actually knowing the music genres and the history of where it truly came from within America, a lot of these other people wasn't doing that type of music until later, until it got popularized. So, like I said earlier, when you have niggas out here just lying about the true origins and the history of hip hop, where it actually came from. See, I don't mind when people come in and try to put their own style and flavor on it. Just don't lie about the history and try to just say that you was doing this and doing that. No, you was doing it later, and you didn't have your own style until you got in tune it with the Black Americans. No,
And you,
they
and you
wasn't doing that type of music.
and you see why it's important to have these discussions and these platforms dedicated to the culture, because if we're not around, the white people gonna say, oh, this is our culture, we started it. Jack
Not
Harlow
only
was the best MC all time.
not only them, but other folks from different ethnic groups and different cultures. You came in later. You wasn't here in the
You know,
beginning, putting your
this
own
was
style into
something.
it.
This was something that started in the park jams, and they had to hook up the turntables to the light posts, the city lamp and all that, and it became a $1 billion industry because of corporate America. But we still got to keep it for us. It's our shit.
You gotta
You know what
tell
I'm
the truth.
saying?
Stop fucking lying. Just tell the
For
truth.
real.
I respect people who tell the truth. The hip hop shit didn't get started in the late 70s. It got started way before that. They don't tell the true essence of where it actually came from when it was building the momentum out of the block parties in the late 60s and
Mhm.
building it up in the early 70s into the mid 70s. That's when it was building it momentum. Then the other people came in the late 70s and early 80s and put their own style to it. So it's just common sense when niggas just be actually not telling
It,
the truth history about hip hop.
it got too corporate, especially when MC Hammer they realized, oh, you can make a hit record off of another hit record. Let's do that. Let's do what MC Hammer did with "You Can't Touch This," and it just took off from there. And then Puffy didn't make it any better. You know what I'm saying? And we still have to keep it grounded, even if it's $1 billion industry. There's still artists that we don't need to see certain artists go mainstream. You know what I'm saying? It's just I've seen artists go mainstream that shouldn't have went mainstream. You know, and I think it ruined their credibility. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
I I, I it's good to have a balance. Like, yeah, there's mainstream artists that I'll fuck with. Jay
Yeah.
Z has been mainstream all day. I love Jay Z. You know, it's good to have a balance of mainstream artists and indie artists, underground artists. But people have to realize, like, this started from the streets. It didn't start in the corporate in a corporate room. It started from the park jams, and that's how that essence has to always be within this culture. You know what I'm saying? The breakdancing is going to be an Olympic sport this year. That's already historic for hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And I hope that they have the right judges, because I don't know who's judging it. I hope they have the right judges.
The
You
right
know,
breakdancers too.
yeah, like doing this and the right breakdancing, right? Because China's going to be there, and there's going to be Germany. There's going to be other countries that feel like, yo, it's not just about America no more. Hip hop is global now. You know what I'm saying? It's not about regions no more like we used to argue about in the '90s. This shit is global now. You have Drake is from another country and he's on the charts. You know what I'm saying? People got to keep that in mind. It's like it's global now. It's crossed into other genres of music. You know what I'm saying? And that is a historic thing, just to have something that came from this culture as breakdancing be an Olympic sport now. You could get a medal for breakdancing. Back in the '80s, I would have never thought that would have happened. You know what I'm saying?
So
When many people thought like this was gonna be a fad. Oh, it's not gonna last. It's a fad. It's just something for the hood. No, the white kids of your white kids are buying music and streaming these artists, and it's just great to see. So that's what I care about, the evolution of this genre and celebrating it, and hoping it gets to 100 years. You know what I'm
so
saying?
quick.
All this bickering about Latinos started it and blacks. Latinos are part of the culture too. They part of and I feel like we don't give enough recognition to the Latin hip hop artists, and we should. You
So
know what I'm
quick
saying?
question.
Like Raka, like if when people
Mhm.
mention a top 10, they might have the only Latino rap artist they might have in the top 10 is Big Pun. Why is that? Why we don't have Fat Joe? Why we don't have Immortal Technique? Or you know what I'm saying? Like that has to change.
So you mentioned the Olympics. Just a quick question:
Mm.
have they revealed like who is going to host the breakdancing competition?
Nope.
They have Snoop Dogg over there. I know that. I know Snoop is gonna be doing some commenting. I don't know if he's doing the actual breakdancing or if he's just there for entertainment because they want to appeal to like the young kids or
Entertainment.
whatever.
It's real corporate now.
Yeah, like they have celebrities over there. There's other celebrities that are gonna be over there. Flavor Flav was over there because he was doing stuff for like the women's water polo. What the fuck you know about water polo? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I love Flavor. I get it, but is he if unless he actually has knowledge of the sport, why is he gonna be a part of that water polo event? Because most of that shit they show at 3 a.m. anyway. Who's staying up at 3 a.m. to see Flavor Flav commentate water
Nigga, I
polo?
don't even stay up that long to look at a WNBA game, so I can't tell
You know what
you.
I'm saying? I'm like, I don't. That doesn't make sense to me.
Man, I can just see Professor Griff right now just shaking his head.
You know,
Cause Griff, he's on serious time. Like that's a brother that does not wait. He doesn't mince words, and he's very critical of minstrelsy. And Flav, I mean, it could go either way. It could even be like Olympic minstrelsy,
mm,
or it can be, um, you know, uh, you know, white. It could be like the beginning of trying to whitewash breakdancing by slowly incorporating people that are not part of hip hop culture into uh, into this art form.
If you look at the women's water polo team, I know for a fact they don't know no Public Enemy album. They might know like Fight the Power. They might not. They don't know shit off of It Takes a Nation of Millions or Favor Black Planet or Apocalypse 91.
No 98 Oldsmobile.
You know what I'm saying? I'm
No
like, why did they pick out of anybody? Why did you have Flavor Flav do shit? Like he's actually in the pool with the women's water polo team, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck am I seeing here?
I didn't even know there was a damn sport. I'm used to soccer and basketball and
he has like the helmet
like
on and everything. He has like the goggles. I'm like, come on, bro. Like I'm not watching water polo just because Flavor Flav is
Flavor Flav trying to get a check, man. Leave him alone.
Man, to me, the writing was on the wall when he sung the national anthem at a Milwaukee Bucks game.
that was funny.
I'd rather him do that than Fergie do the national anthem.
Oh God. And bro, she wasn't like yo. I remember it. She wasn't that bad compared to that chick, that country chick.
Oh yeah, that
the
bitch was
All-Star
garbage.
game.
Y'all need.
Bro.
I'm telling you, y'all need to start getting these spoiled milk white ladies to do the national anthem. Y'all need to get somebody. Y'all need to bring back the soul of like Whitney Houston or something to do it.
Bro, and now she's saying she was drunk.
Yeah, she was drunk, all right.
Yo, that was one of the
that's even worse. That's even worse because now you sung the national anthem badly and you're unprofessional. So that means that you can't. You're unreliant. So you think after this there's going to be?
Yeah, she's white. She'll get another job. She's white.
But at least it's one of theirs that fucked up, and not one of ours.
Yeah,
this is America. You know how many white women get jobs that they ain't qualified for?
that was one of the worst ever. Like Roseanne Barr, hers was like one of the worst. Carl Lewis,
I can't even remember.
Yeah, that was I think. Yeah, that was a year before Whitney Houston sung at the Olympic Games. Whitney sung at the Olympic Games in '91. So Roseanne Barr must have been in 1990.
I think Roseanne was like at a Padres game, and like she spit on the mound and everything. That was just horrible. That was just horrible. She didn't even try. The Carl Lewis one, that was like at a New Jersey, back when the Nets were in New Jersey, and that was like before the game. But he realized he fucked up. He was like, and he had to do it over. That shit was funny. You know what I'm saying? Because his voice cracked. You know what I'm saying? But
it was way before my time.
Yeah, but that's on YouTube. But like that the country singer, that was just bad. Like she was awful. You know what I'm saying? And they showed like players on the field laughing at her. That was the funny thing.
Y'all should have got motherfucking Jelly Roll to do it. That big fat motherfucker can sing. Y'all should have got him to do it if y'all gonna get a white person. Y'all be getting these spoiled milk CMT looking bitches out here doing national anthems and shit. I could have did the national anthem better than that.
Yeah.
But you know what though? You know what you did not hear after who's the white woman you're talking about?
I forgot her name. She's some country singer.
Yes, some country singer.
Yeah.
I bet you didn't hear a peep from these MAGA ultra conservative. We gotta, we gotta protect, America with all our might. Like the same smoke they had, like the smoke they had for Colin Kaepernick, it was nowhere for this country chick.
Crazy.
Man, they ain't trying to hit that shit. They ride Trump nuts now. It's Trump mania out here now. They got the milk fist up and pumped up already.
Bro, the minute that happened, I seen like a whole bunch of like independent clothing lines make t-shirts.
50 Cent about to get paid.
They got socks. They got like a whole Trump clothing line now. He about to get
paid. His marketing is impeccable when shit like that happened. He raised like $200 million. That happened like a month or so ago. I'm like, this motherfucker's crazy.
And I saw that Many Men is like it's like one of the most streaming songs now.
Yep, I'm telling you, he go the Trump remix coming soon. I keep telling y'all.
I mean, like they might as well make Trump a political prisoner at this point.
That man was going to jail.
Like to MAGA, he's like Nelson Mandela, Leonard Peltier. Like he's, the freedom fighter, for MAGA. Like, and like to me, I'm kind of, what y'all, what Eric just mentioned. I'm to the point now, man. Like,
I'm just sitting back and watching the show. I already
yeah,
know
like,
what the results going. I already know what the results going to be. So I'm just sitting
I,
back and watching.
I can't even let my blood pressure raise anymore, man.
Hmm.
Like whatever it's going to be is whatever it's going to be, because this country is going to get the president that this country deserves.
Whatever
And
that means.
yeah, whatever that
Yeah.
means.
Yeah.
And I'm I don't mean to get political. I'm like, I was just thinking like, um, right now, the people that are supporting former 45, like, I would seriously question, if I know them, if I know them personally,
Mm.
I wouldn't want them to babysit my kids. I wouldn't want them to, you know, be anywhere near me, near my family, because if you are placing your support behind the most criminalized and immoral president ever, then that means anything goes.
I mean, both of
But
these
that's just me,
motherfuckers
though.
unqualified. One of them is senile and fall down every 5 seconds, and the other one, I don't know. He just a rich white billionaire. So either way you go, you gonna have your positives and you gonna have your negatives. But
This is exactly why I didn't vote. I only voted for
I
one
didn't vote for
president.
neither
That
of
was
these
Obama.
motherfuckers. I didn't like that nigga neither. He didn't do nothing. He was trash
I
too.
voted for Obama. That's the only time I ever voted for a president. I never voted for Al Gore or any of the Bushes. This is exactly why, because people are split between Trump and they don't want Biden in office.
I'm on the couch, nigga. I told you. I already know who gonna win. I know who gonna win. It's already out there in the open. So
It's like pick your poison at this point.
I mean,
I could be
to me,
president right now. It's for real. Joe Biden has fucked this country up. You thought Obama was bad. Four more years of this motherfucker.
See,
I
but
can't do
Obama
it.
gave us hope. He gave us hope.
Obama didn't do shit for nobody. Obama was just a carbon. Obama was a wannabe black man in sheep's clothing. He
I
didn't really
think
do nothing for Black America.
Obama gave us hope. The thing with Obama was like his hands were tied with anything that he wanted to do for this country.
Nah, he could have did a lot of shit. They had his hands tied behind his back. He
Yeah,
was just a jester in a suit. He couldn't really do nothing
right.
for nobody unless they asked him to. He wasn't really for Black American people. He never has been.
This is why it's hard to get the black man's vote.
I mean, not really. You got black folks out here voting for Joe Biden, and he signed the '94 crime bill.
I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for him in the last election. I didn't vote for Biden or Trump. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I feel like we're going through the same song and dance over and over again every 4 years. It's the same shit. You know what I'm saying? When is actually that's gonna come along for this country and actually care about the people of this country? Joe Biden is old. Like it seemed like I think people want to vote for him just to keep Trump out of office.
He
And
got dementia.
I
His
mean,
wife got to wipe his ass every time he gets off stage. So he
but
he got destroyed in that debate. Trump didn't really have to say nothing to this dude. I could have got up there and debated him. Like it's that
did you see
easy.
like the look on Biden's face anytime Trump would would speak?
This
That just
motherfucker
was
was
funny.
whispering. It was like a glitch. Like you remember those AOL dial connections that you had
Mhm.
to make. It's just like that. It's it's just pathetic, man. The United States is looking like bitches.
If something happens to Biden, we get Kamala Harris. How do y'all feel about her?
She's not becoming a president.
No, you don't want. You don't. No, she. Do you want her as president though?
No, fuck her. She's garbage too. She's probably one of the worst vice presidents we ever had.
name another vice president.
It's too many to name. That's the only lady I know because it's so many that you can't even remember. Only thing I remember about George Bush that he snorts cocaine and got shoes thrown at him. I mean, I was a kid when he was in office. I
Al
mean,
Gore
what?
was a vice president.
Yeah, only time I remember him is when he was from South Park. That's the only time I remember Al Gore. So
I mean, Trump is no spring chicken. Like he's only 3 years younger than Biden. So the ageism arguments doesn't really hold much sway. Like for me, the thing that I mean it's down to two candidates. Now you got to split hairs. Well, it's not even splitting hairs. It's like one candidate, is going to manage the country reasonably. The other candidate might send us to Jim Crow.
Hmm.
And if you haven't read Project 2025,
none of that shit
and
is happening on that Project
That
2025.
that's
That's
what
just
that's the
that's
thing
a
that
scare tactic.
that's what Taraji was talking about at the BT Awards.
Man, she don't know what the hell she's talking about. She's just talking shit, forgetting people's names. They ain't doing nothing on that damn. They've been doing this shit, the Black American people, for the past 60 plus years, using scare tactics. We gonna be all right in 2025, 2026, and beyond. That shit ain't scaring nobody. They do that shit all the time. We are the Black Americans are the only group of people that they try that shit on. They don't try that shit on with Black foreigners, Africans, Caribbeans. They don't try that with other people. They don't do that with Latinos or even Asians. They're only like 5% of the population in the United States. They ain't doing that with them. It's
well,
just a scare tactic.
well, for Black people, we were we were brought to this country. The other groups that you mentioned were migrants from the Irish, from the Italian, to you know uh, uh, Latin people. So Black people's problems are going to be far more unique and far more uh, uh, problematic than other groups. And other groups, they get more breaks when they come to this country,
Right.
whereas Black people don't. So
I
so
mean, I
so
mean, y'all want Kanye West as the president of this country?
Kanye West got enough problems in his life. He ain't becoming no damn president.
I've heard so many. So The Rock even wanted to be to
He
run
ain't
it.
becoming no damn president. He's fighting Roman Reigns at next year's WrestleMania. He ain't doing that. This is going to be the fight for the tribal chief position. He got enough stuff on his shoulders. It's going to be between creepy Joe Biden or Donald J. Trump. Them are your choices, and I already know the results.
I think it's scary times for this country, man.
It's already been scary times. Black folks are
You
used to
know,
going through shit and making $1 out of 15 cents. I know I'm just prepared for the worst because it's red done out here.
I feel like I'm gonna have to have like a political discussion on here
You
come
don't really have to
election time.
because when you talking about certain shit about this, it's just common sense. I just go by common sense and like knowledge. You don't really got to know everything about these motherfuckers. They show you every day. I don't even got to look at the conventions. When you have former porn stars up here slash,
Hmm.
you know, throwaway models, Amber Rose, who been getting ran
Hmm.
through
Why
by
was she there? Why I don't have I made that made no sense to me.
I mean, when you getting these mixed chicks who have problems in their lives, they got to do something. She ain't getting none of that Wiz Khalifa money no more, so she got to do something to make
You and
$1 out of
you heard
15
about
cents.
Wiz? He went overseas and he caught a
Yeah,
case,
he got the ASAP Rocky treatment,
bro.
but I don't think
ten
he's going to
years.
jail.
He might be doing 10 years in Romanian jail.
Man, all you gotta do is just throw them niggas some dollars. He'll be all right. You can't be doing that in them foreign countries, man. They real strict about that shit. He should
Crazy,
have known better. You should have learned from ASAP Rocky. I don't know why these niggas don't learn.
right?
This nigga learned from his mistakes. Now he's out here wearing tighty whities and shit. So
but you know what? When it comes to the RNC,
Hmm.
and you see that they had Amber Rose as a keynote speaker. The Republican Party is the party that prides itself on being the political party for Christian values and morals and being family friendly, and this is the same woman that let us slut walk.
Exactly. And she has no morals. You have your kid's name tatted on your forehead.
I
You know
mean,
what I'm
both
Exactly.
saying?
parties are just twin birds of white supremacy. So you got trash on both sides. It's not really any strengths on both sides. Both of them are trash. They actually working together So you might see them throw a couple of jabs here and there, but they working together.
It's just shit that I can't watch, man. Like this is why I don't get into politics. It's too
Yeah.
muddy. Just the whole debate, everything is just so,
Don't do it. Try just stick to the hip hop. You better get it.
But I want to see this country better, and
I do
I feel
too.
like we need a good leader. I don't feel like it's Trump. I feel like Biden is too old at this point. You
Yeah,
know,
he need to go to the
But I feel like
retirement
at this
home.
point with a
Mhm.
two,
Now go
but
ahead.
at this point with a two-party system, I don't see an emerging candidate that can be transformative. For example, after uh, after the Eisenhower years,
Mhm.
you had John F. Kennedy that was a populist. He was very popular among many voting blocks, black people, um, uh, you know, women,
Mhm.
um, college students. He had a very universal appeal among many voting blocks because he was progressive.
And
But,
that's why they killed him.
yeah,
Allegedly.
but in 2024, 2025, 2026, I have to ask myself, what is progression going forward? What does it look like? Because I'm not going to say it, but you can kind of glean where I'm going.
Yeah.
There's a certain group that has enjoyed a lot of political gains, a lot of it in marriage equality, a lot of it in um, fair rights equality when we don't even enjoy those privileges. So what's progressive for one group, but the group that's been fighting in America the longest don't get the same perks. So I like for me, I don't know what's progressive anymore.
All them wishy washy made up political terms, they really the same thing. Ain't really no difference between them. They might have some of the same talking points, but it basically comes back to the same thing. If I was gonna vote, I'd be an independent. I think for myself and do for myself. I really don't care for either political party because
What
it's
what
garbage
Rock
people on the left and it's garbage people on the right.
I think what Rock is saying that there's not another candidate besides Trump and Biden that can really hold the people's attention, and that's bad. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna tell you, like in 2008 when Obama got elected, I saw my mother cry tears of joy. Right when Trump got elected as president, I saw my mother cry tears of fear. You know what I'm saying? And it was two different reactions that I saw her do for two different presidents. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like this country is in trouble. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of people are going to vote for Biden just to make sure that Trump don't get back in office. But is
I
Biden necessarily the
No,
one?
I don't want 4 more years of his bullshit. And I didn't like Obama when he was in there for his 2 fucking terms because black people was getting killed by the by the shitloads when he was in the office, and he didn't do nothing about these shootings. Didn't get rid of qualified immunity for these police officers killing unarmed black people. He didn't do nothing for black American people. He didn't do a damn thing. So his presidency for the past 2 terms were just completely fucking garbage. He wasn't really qualified, let alone knew the essence of black American people. With him being of Kenyan descent and his mother being a white woman, so he didn't really know the true meaning of what it means to be a black American citizen in the United States of America. So
So
he
just
didn't really, we didn't really benefit for anything that he did as president.
just out of curiosity, what is it about Biden that what about his policy specifically that you don't like?
I don't like the things that he do for illegal immigrants, giving them money, keeping the borders wide open, opening the floodgates for people to come into the country illegally, not doing the things that you supposed to do, like getting rid of pre-qualified immunity when white supremacist race soldiers are out here killing unarmed black people. When you can see a white motherfucker run into a school and killed innocent kids, and you can see white supremacists run up into grocery stores killing unarmed black people in Buffalo. So the things that he's been doing for everybody else, they're benefiting off of it. But for black Americans, we are at the bottom. He can do everything for these other foreign groups like Asians, different people from the diaspora, Africans, Caribbeans, by giving them right citizenship. But most of the time, it's just doing everything for everybody else, like the LGBTQ and other groups within the United States political realm, but not doing anything for Black Americans. So he really not qualified to be talking about what is a black job when he hasn't even handled the situation with these illegal migrants coming over here.
Well, that was Trump that said that mentioned black jobs. That wasn't Biden.
He mentioned it too in his in one of the interviews that he did, like one of the rallies. He has dementia. He can't really remember what he says or doesn't says. And he hasn't mentioned anything about his son getting 3 felony gun charges and being caught in hotel rooms with crack. So he hasn't even said anything about that.
Like I would like you brought up a lot of good points, but doesn't Donald Trump Jr. doesn't he have a criminal record? Isn't his record checkered?
Yeah, both shitty on both sides. But I mean, what other choices do you got? I'm sitting on the couch. I already told you the results are already in, and Biden's just slipping on a banana peel. He can't really do anything to actually win besides keep falling on and slipping on a banana. He's showing you every day that he's not going to get a second term in the United States seat as president.
I'll be honest. The reason why this bears repeating, I could never vote for Trump because he doesn't. He is a narcissist. He doesn't care about anyone but himself, not his political base, not his voters, not his supporters, no one. And in 2017, wasn't does anybody remember Charlottesville when those white race soldiers killed protesters?
Mhm.
So where was Trump's concern for innocent people that got killed? He went to a church for a photo op and he held the Bible upside down. When he was asked about his favorite Bible scriptures, he couldn't name one chapter. He couldn't name one verse. So for me, if Biden is comatose, he would be a better candidate than Trump right now. And they're both they're not good candidates, but I just feel like if 4 more years of Trump, man, we might be sold into slavery again.
I
Did,
don't.
did
I
y'all see
don't.
that? Did y'all see that movie, Civil War? That's how it would be if Trump got back in office. It'd be like
Yes,
that. You know
I
what I'm
I
did.
saying?
don't. I don't agree with. I don't agree with that. Just like I said, I don't agree with certain things that both people on both sides said. But out of the 4 years that Joe Biden's been in office, you had a floodgate of illegal immigrants coming into the country, and you just had different people getting benefits while Black Americans have been out here making $1 out of 15 cents. So you really don't have. I already said I'm sitting on the couch in 2024. If you ain't doing nothing out here specifically for Black Americans, what's the use of coming out here voting for either side if you ain't sitting at the table discussing business? Because we have seen a history of both people being on these political channels, being on these what you call those things when you be on screen in the video, you like a meeting on the screen on the internet, like a little podcast thing, like a little secret meeting. You will see him talking about immigrants are the future of the United States of America. You're gonna have to work for them, which you should have been doing real things for the people who have been the main political motivation of you actually getting elected, which is the Black American population. Most of these groups in the United States of America don't vote as a They don't vote at the same time as a group. People from different ethnic groups or different races going to vote separately. Some of them are going to vote on one side, and some of them are going to vote on a different side. When it comes to Joe Biden, you can't have a president out here just calling your vice president Donald Trump when he hasn't been in the office for the past 4 years. If you don't know who your vice president is, how you gonna know how to run this country, let alone wipe your ass when it's time for you to take a shit?
I
But
I,
yeah,
I just think it's like it's really fucked up for this country, man. You know what I'm saying? I feel like people are gonna vote for Biden because they just don't want to see Trump back in office. But is Biden the right one though? And a
nope.
lot of people feel like he's not because of his age. You know what I'm saying? It's like give me a president that's gonna stick to what they say they're gonna do for this country. That's all I want. Somebody's gonna keep their word and not get in there and then totally flip on America.
But the problem with that, no, no politician is going to do that because a politician, they are, they're going to make promises that they're not
They
going
can't
to
keep.
keep
Right.
because they have to rely on so many different functions of government to get anything passed. Like you need 2/3, of the House, to get something to Congress, and that's part of the reason why I think Obama, he was hamstrung. Like when, and also another thing, the House was predominantly Republican. You think the Republicans was going to pass or uh, or rubber stamp anything that Obama uh, put forth? Of course not. So I believe Obama had the greatest intentions, but when the House, in Congress are just dragging their feet, just trying to, make you look like, trying to make you look like you're not in the best of light publicly. You know, a lot of things that people complain about happen. The Affordable Health Care Act that was stripped away by Trump. Now, the same people that are saying they're going to vote for Trump, they can't. The insurance premiums are higher more than ever. You know, because Biden was unable to roll back the he was unable to bring back the policy under Obama that Trump stripped away. So it's like it's voting against your best interest.
I guess we're gonna have to see in November, man.
Yeah,
That's
I already know the results. Obama can't go nowhere without getting booed or paper towels with loose poop thrown at him. Like I said earlier, he hasn't did anything for the Black American community within his 2 terms. He has shitted on the Black American community by doing everything else for every other ethnic group, giving them tangibles and benefits. Crime was out of control when it came to shootings of unarmed Black American children, just like they are now under the Biden administration. You have a massive floodgate of illegal immigrants coming from Central America, South America, and through Mexico. I never thought a day in my life that I'd see Asians coming through the Mexican border. You had Haitian immigrants getting their ass whooped at the Mexican border with whips a couple of years ago, but you can have a floodgate of illegal aliens coming from South America, Panama. You got a whole floodgate of crime being increased thanks to Eric Adams up there. Thank you, Eric Adams in New York
the hip
City.
hop mayor.
Yeah, that's the mayor up there who's doing a fantastic job with the crime up there in Tri City. You know, you got a whole bunch of Panamanian gangs being associated with cartels of drug organizations terrorizing the city of New York City due to this whole
Well,
illegal
let
immigration.
me ask you something, Eric. Let's say you see my family's Caribbean,
What's
they
up?
came from the Caribbean to this country. Let's say you have like war torn countries, the shit that went on in the Ukraine and all that. Let's say some people want to leave their country and have a better life for their family, and they look at America as that place. What's wrong with them coming to America to have a better life?
The problem is you coming with a whole group of people that understand that white supremacy is a worldwide factor, and they do use anti-black sentiments that they learned in European countries, let alone for people in America to practice white supremacy along with their white supremacist brothers in America.
Well, what if they don't even think like that? They just want to come to America to get away from their war torn
I'm just
country.
gonna say
And
this: their government should handle that. America has already been flooded with immigration from the illegal standard in the from the illegal factor to the legal factor. We have opened up this country for legal immigration and illegal immigration for the past 40 plus years. When it
but
comes to
wasn't America?
situations,
But wasn't America full of immigrants before? Wasn't
no,
this whole land?
you only had a small percentage of immigrants at that time, but mostly there was it was black Americans with Native Americans with white people earlier. You have to understand only a small percentage of Africans came to America. Most of them went to Central America. Most of them went to South America, spread it out through Central America and Mexico. It was only a small percentage of Africans that came in to America that mixed in with the black Native people.
So you want a wall built up like Trump wanted to keep a.
I want I want illegal immigration to be controlled just like legal immigration. It should be a process just like when you go to a different country. See, I can't go to Africa and get dual citizenship. They want to know the whole process of my background. They want to know how much money I make. Getting dual citizenship in these countries um requires a lot of red tape. It's not that easy like these folks tell you, like the whole I forgot what they was calling it a couple of years ago. They wanted us to come back home, come back to Africa, all this bullshit. But you have different Africans running away from their countries to get away from the chaos, just like they have this civil war in the Congo, just like the whole process of Burkina Faso, Niger, and I forgot the other country that's trying to get away from the African Union because they keep not trying to change things in some of these African countries. They keep selling out to European countries, and you got Asians over there taking over their homeland. Asians are over there telling them what to do in their homeland. So,
So so
of
you
course,
so
they
you
want
so
to
you
come
don't
to.
think when immigrants come to this country they need to fill out papers and
Yes,
documents?
they need to go through the same process. See, if I go to a different country, I have to do all that. Most of the time, they'll give these people a open, easy one-way ticket to America. They don't have to go through the process, learn the history, take a test. Sometimes they just have to. Sometimes it's just easy to come to the United States of America. Like
No, it
if I
ain't.
go to a
No, it's not. I have cousins in the Caribbean that they have to make sure their papers are right just to get into this
certain
country.
countries that they're not gonna let certain people from other countries come in. They'll let white Europeans come in, Asians, but when it comes to other black people from these other countries, it's gonna be a longer and harder process. They let certain people come in. So say if you're like a Candace Owens who don't really care about being black, you want to work for the white folks, they'll let you come in because they'll use you against the other black people who are actually trying to do better in America, who are actually trying to do right by people. See, there's a difference between a coon and a black person. A black person wants to see better for their community. A coon would do anything, and I do mean anything, to be under white mommy and white daddy. And if that means selling out their own people, doing negative things, giving negative stereotypes about, other people that come from their come from their lineage or come from different areas within the United States of America, they'll just use that to try to get brownie points from white people.
I just
But
I
you,
just want a president that's going to represent this country the right way. And we probably will never get that. And this is why black people will not vote because we see the bullshit that's going on.
but as far as illegal migrants coming into this country, I wonder was it a problem when a lot of American businesses had no problem hiring illegal immigrants, to work
Yes,
for
because it was working
pennies
for
on the
them.
dollar.
They was benefiting from that. I mean, of course, you're gonna hire people
Exactly.
that's from cheap labor. I mean,
Ex-
if you want to make this country stronger again, you got to hire people who's actually qualified to do those jobs. And if you're trying to make these other countries great again, you need to go back to your country and fight for your people.
But the people, but the people that hire these illegal immigrants, the immigrants are just bean counters. The people that are really earning millions of dollars, they are the rich fat cats that are the same people complaining about illegal migrants coming into this country. A lot of them were at the RNC. So to me, it's a lot of hypocrisy. As long as rich, white, wealthy people can benefit from illegal immigrants coming into this country, everything is fine. But once migrants come into this country legally or even illegally, now people are wringing their hands. So to me, this falls on deaf ears for me. The hypocrisy is laughable to me, and a lot of them are the Fortune 500 companies that are in Time magazine uh, at the end of the year annually.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, we do need stricter laws when it comes to legal immigration and illegal immigration. Because if you keep letting people come into the country, it just open a floodgate of different problems and situations that the United States government hasn't handled or don't want to handle until something
Yeah,
actually
because
terrible happens.
the United States government want to handle everybody else's shit. Take care of your own
That's what I'm
backyard.
talking about. They ain't handling their business. That's why I said if you're gonna talk shit about people in America and you from another country, you got to go back and help your people in your homeland. It's enough conflicts and situations that's going on in your country. You can't be proud to wave your flags when people over there in your homeland are just starving and getting beat up by Chinese and just get taken over by white Europeans. The audacity is real when it comes to people like that come to America always having negative stereotypes about black Americans, but you ain't back in your homeland helping your people when they're struggling and don't even have clean water or don't even have the I mean, Africa could be a beautiful place if Africans look themselves in the mirror and they get with the uncold ones and fight the people who's actually terrorizing them, which is the sellout, which is some of their sellout leaders, the presidents in these countries, the um the people that's coming in taking over their country from Europe and Asia, because the Chinese have a major influence in a lot of these African countries.
But what you're describing is colonialism, and that has been happening for centuries. And a lot of, from what I understand, a lot of African nations, they've battled their colonialists, they've won their independence, but Africa is a large continent. To completely win freedom anywhere is not easy. So I understand why people from other countries come here because they've been told that America is the home of the free, home of the brave. We'll take your weary. We'll take the unwanted, until they live here and realize that they're at the bottom of a social economic scale, just like every non-white person that lives in this country.
If I was a country that was 90 to 95% of the population, I think something will be much better. But they haven't been broken down physically; they've been broken down mentally. The Europeans came in and just broke them down psychologically and just changed their minds and just gave them a different mentality, different from a black American person. See, when it comes to the history of America and when it comes to the history of black Americans, we only been a small percentage of the population, which is majority of white people in the United States of America. But throughout our history, we have always found certain situations in the strength to fight the white supremacists when it comes to you know you know different things that happen throughout our history. But when you go to these other countries, most of the time they don't they don't live like that. They have a different mentality. They come at white supremacy different. They don't see it as something that is a major problem in their country. They look at it something as an honor. They'll build white Jesus statues. They'll be with the skin bleaching. They'll be with the self-hatred amongst their own African brothers and sisters, the tribalism. You have 3,000, you have thousands and thousands of tribes in the country of Nigeria. Different conflicts, different situations going on over there that could be solved if certain situations would be much more better over there, if some of the uncoat people would actually get power instead of just having the same old presidents every political cycle just doing the same thing. Because most of the time these countries are answering to the European countries. You know, you have countries like France, the United Kingdom, Russia, Belgium, who has a disgusting history of doing things to a lot of African countries, but it just, I don't know, it's just different when it comes to white supremacy. It's different from somebody understanding it in the United States of America, and it's different from somebody who actually trying to understand it in Africa. If you ask somebody what is white supremacy in Africa, most of the time they won't tell you. But if you ask somebody who's from America, who's been here, whose lineage and soul is from here, they'll tell you something different. It's two different answers to the same question.
I want to switch subjects, bro. No more politics. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We're gonna
yeah. I don't want to
definitely.
keep talking about
I
shit.
feel like we're,
I
we're
was
gonna
just,
definitely come back to that subject
yeah, I
for
was just freestyling this shit. I was just
But
going off like basic knowledge and stuff.
I hear both of your points. I just want to. I don't think we'll ever get that perfect president for this up for America. You know
So,
what I'm saying?
and by the way, like I'm just curious about his point of view. Like I'm not disagreeing with him, and I don't think he's disagreeing with me. I just think we're just curious about where we see,
Right.
you know, we're just interested in different perspectives.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's good to have to hear different everybody's different opinions on things. You know. I feel like we definitely gonna have to come back to that closer to the election, and that's gonna be a lot of on a lot of people's minds on, when they if they decide to go to vote, who they're gonna choose, and why, and just get ready for the shit show. I feel like that's gonna happen. You know.
And the weird
Uh,
thing is, like my I think my birthday is on election day, so that's going to be
oh what?
weird.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Wow.
that's going to be a weird
Happy
day,
birthday.
bro.
Wow.
Thanks. It's actually on a Monday.
Hmm.
It's on a Monday,
Yeah.
so I think election day is on the 5th. So yeah, it's going to be a weird,
Yeah.
a weird day. I'm gonna enjoy my day, but
Yeah.
yeah, when you mentioned, we'll see in November, it's going to be what's that damn, I can't think of that song. I think it was Raekwon when he said mad lives are up for grabs.
Oh
That's what it
yes.
feels like.
Yeah. Facts. That was on can it all be so simple? Yeah.
Yeah. Can it
Yeah.
all be so simple?
Hmm. A fitting title, right? Can it all be so simple? I want to talk about the Billboard released the top 100 rap albums all time.
Another
Everybody's been
list.
talking about, huh?
Another list.
Another list. Everybody's been talking about this. This came out like 6 days ago, and I will say for this list, it was more accurate than the other shitty lists in the past that Rolling Stone had and Billboard and Complex.
It
This
was
this is
better
more
than the
accurate.
Kumo. It was better than the Kumo D
Yes,
list.
it was better than the Kumo D list. Definitely,
Was
definitely.
that the list when Kumo D was like grading rappers by
Yeah.
grade letters?
Mm-hmm. Kumo D, of course, he had himself number one because he felt like he was the best.
Had
You
the
know.
Beastie Boys at a C.
Hey, but try
Mm,
when his competition in his mind was in the early to mid
eight.
'80s.
Yeah.
Of course, you're gonna think you're number one.
Uh huh. Definitely. And he had Melly Mel high on that list, and I think he had
Uh,
Biggie with number 5 or something like that. You
I
know.
didn't get him. I didn't get into Big Pun until he died.
That's what he said. That's crazy.
Yeah, he said it in his book. You must don't remember.
I
Red
didn't. I
got
didn't
book.
read the book. I didn't read. I never bought the book.
Okay.
That's crazy. I mean, I've heard ludicrous shit like that. I think Flow Rider said something like that. Like he didn't know who Biggie Smalls was, and he said that on the radio. He didn't know who Biggie was.
Whoa. Say that again.
Flow Rider. Remember Flow Rider?
The Black Pitbull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was on radio like this is like back in the 2000s, and he was I forgot who it was he was talking to on the radio, and he said he didn't know who Biggie was. Like he never listened to Biggie. He didn't know who he was until after he died.
I can't believe that.
Hey, I can. Yeah, have you Flow Rider? Like,
man, look. You cannot like Biggie's music, but to say you never heard of Biggie,
bro, you'll be surprised, bro.
I mean, that's
from
like
a certain the regional shit is real because there's certain regions where people, even here in New York City, when it comes to the West Coast artists, there's certain West Coast artists that they never heard of.
I don't like them niggas. Them West Coast niggas.
Unless you was really a hip hop head, and you was really in tune with the underground and what mainstream was putting out there. There's a lot of New York kids that was not in tune with a lot of underground West Coast artists like a Dilated Peoples.
I can't buy that, man. To me, like you're from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
If I asked you, have you ever heard of Numbskull?
Yes.
Would you know who he is?
Numbskull, Finster Bundy.
Okay.
Styles of Beyond. I know all the underground because I grew up listening. Like I said, I grew up listening to both mainstream and underground. But it's not the same for everybody else, though.
But the thing is, like Biggie, Ready to Die went double platinum.
Mm-hmm.
Biggie worked with Michael Jackson.
Yep.
Biggie had the biggest song of '95.
Yep.
Biggie had the largest selling album of '97, although posthumously.
That's debatable. That's debatable too.
Like Life After Death.
Mm-hmm. That was great.
It went diamond, right?
Yeah, it went diamond. So did No Way Out. So did No Way Out, which is that should have been only released from the Diddler.
Okay, I'll give you that. I guess.
Yeah, that's the only album I fuck with. Yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah.
Not because him, but because of the artist.
All right.
Like you're probably right. Like I just can't wrap my head around.
I mean, he might know who Biggie was, but he never listened to him. That's probably what it was. But he said he never heard of Biggie.
See, there's a difference between never getting to Biggie's music, right, and never hearing and never heard of Biggie Smalls at all.
Right.
But
it's like again, like I said, like it's like there's a lot of like Oakland, Bay Area artists that I never heard of, like Seagrams. I never heard of Seagrams until Reg mentioned it. Like I heard of Selly Cell, never heard of Selly Cell, never heard his music.
Drew Down, nigga.
Yeah, Drew Down. I've heard his name. I've seen his videos. Never listened to his music. Mac Mall. You know what I'm saying? So it's that part I could believe is possible. You know what I'm saying? But those artists were not like mainstream like how Biggie was.
Exactly. Like those artists that you mentioned,
mm-hmm.
they're on the fringes. Like you would have to be familiar with Northern California hip hop, and also a lot of those artists were independent. So
right.
You may have got hit to them, by seeing their videos on the box or reading about them in Rap City or reading about them in the source.
Right.
But he must not. I would love to know like who was he around, because like all of us, like there's some artists that even if we don't like them, we're gonna hear about them because our friends play their music all the time. You hear about them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, I mean to go on.
I get what you're saying, definitely. You know what I'm saying? No. I thought you were saying something.
Nah, you cool. I was just going by.
But I was saying like their list was more accurate. Like there's some albums on the list where I felt like the placement was too low. Like they had Capital Punishment from Big Pun at 48. I'm like, that's way too low for Big Pun.
everybody gonna be talking about it because it ain't gonna be your 50 that you want. That's why you can't have a top 50 because it's too many albums that you could think of, but you just don't want to put 50. Then you'll just be forgetting
Yeah.
certain shit. Wait a minute, I got something for you. Wait.
But I will say this though, the majority of the albums in the top 50 I have, like Teflon Don from Rick Ross was number 50. I think that's Rick Ross' best album. You know what I'm saying? Like he has other classics to me. Like I love Port of Miami, Deeper Than Rap, but Teflon Don was my first actual Rick Ross album that I actually bought. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't start out as a Rick Ross fan, like because he had the beat, he's still beefing with 50. Him and 50 was going at it at that time. I felt like Rick Ross was making better music than 50 at that time. And I slowly started to like he has a great ear for beats. I will say that. Classic album. Love that album.
Vinyl.
Yes. Love that album. I think that was too low. Capital Punishment at 48 was way too low. It's especially considering the albums that's ahead of that. Like they had Future, Dirty Sprite 2 ahead of Big Pun.
And I like that album too. That shit's fire. That's probably one of Future's best albums. This is one of my favorite albums from him.
Little Kim Hardcore was 49. That's our best album.
That's too low. That's top 5. That's top 10 best female hip hop albums of all time.
Yeah. They had Clips Lord Willin. 47.
Too low.
Way too low.
Hey Reg, if you still listening, the Cafeteria beats on there was magnificent.
BDP Criminal Minded at 46. I just think some of the placements were too low. But I get it. Everybody not gonna be able to make the top 10.
First of all, I don't even like, BDP being even associated with some of those artists that are ranked close to him.
Right. They have Beastie Boys. They have Paul's Boutique at 45, right after.
See, when it comes to these lists,
you know what I'm saying?
I like going by era.
So they had a lot of the classics, just that the placement was bad for a lot of them.
Yeah. I rather go by era from like certain years. You just put the best albums from each year. That's what how I like doing it.
Like if we have like top 20 from the 80s, and then like top 20 from the 90s, and then 2000s, 2010s.
Yeah, I was trying to go by like each year from like maybe 84, 85, and like just go year from year.
Right. Like Supreme Clientele was 43. I think that's too low for Supreme Clientele.
Did they have my Liquid Swords on there?
Liquid Sword. I didn't see Liquid Swords in top 50. That might have been in
the 100. Course you didn't. They be hating on
Black Album was 42. Now I love the Black Album. I don't know if I would have put Black Album in top 50 though.
I like the Rock La Familia compilation. I think they don't get a lot of credit.
Black Album would have been in maybe top 100. I don't think it would have been like top 50.
Which album?
The Black Album.
Where was that ranked at?
That was 42. It was. I love Black Album. I don't think I would have put, because they had more than one Jay-Z album in top 50.
Okay.
Of course they did.
Reasonable Doubt was there. I saw Blueprint on the list. Bone Thugs was number 40 for E99 Eternal.
Fire.
That for me would have been in the top. Well, All the War is my favorite, but I love E99.
They need to do a vinyl reissue of it again. This shit sold out.
What's sold out?
The E1999 vinyl. I got a copy of it though, but I was lucky to get it.
Yeah, I heard there's like 19 different copies of that album.
Like I got the Vinyl Me Please version.
Yeah. Like there's like 19 different editions with the Crossroads song, and then they got like the printing of it. I had that on cassette too back in the day.
Yo, I bought this at Sam Goody.
Mm-hmm.
And at Sam Goody, like you have like the listening station.
Yeah.
And I remember like what made me, I wasn't really mad, but I was just annoyed. They had the censored version. So, so Bone, they already rap fast, right? And you can hardly understand them, when they're, rapping on a dirty version. So just imagine you're listening to this album for the first time, and they got, DJ Unique got the backward masking, and the words are being censored, and you don't know what word was censored. And it just, like, I dug the music, but it just made
It was annoying, yo. Did we lose Raka?
Oh, can
Yeah.
you with me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought we had lost you for a minute.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Is my connection good?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
raining over
So I
here
was just,
too.
oh yeah, I was just
Yeah.
saying like once I got the album,
Oh,
I was I played that album damn near all summer long.
same.
You know, like it's like I dug every member, like if that like every group has like the you god of the group,
Hmm.
and Wishbone was the you god.
Yeah.
No, so
I never looked at him like that, but now that you say it, it makes sense. He was underrated.
That go to Orange Redemption. That's an underrated album in my opinion. I know a lot of people don't say
What's that?
that, but I like the shit.
What's that?
yeah,
I was saying you guys go to Orange Redemption. I
Oh,
think that's an
see,
underrated
now I
album
didn't.
from
I
the
didn't
record.
like that one. I liked some songs. I didn't like the. I didn't think the production was consistent.
I,
But
I still
his
have
later.
yeah,
Huh?
I say I still haven't listened to Capadonna's Yin and Yang, but after the album
That
review
was
y'all did a
terrible.
while back, I ain't listened to
That
that
was
shit.
trash.
If it
man.
was
I
an
didn't like.
EP, that shit would have been way
I
better.
didn't like that.
Yo, the thing that I didn't like with Golden Redemption, first of all, that first song Turbo Boost,
Hmm.
like he
Turbocharged.
I, I swear to God, like he sounded like Melly Mel with that deep voice.
Yeah.
Like,
That shit was okay to me though, but I understand.
I mean,
Look at
like,
Angela Reese trying to show out. She looking thick as fuck. Look at it.
Mm-mm-mm. Wow. Oh yeah, I saw that.
yeah.
Angel
Trying to show
Reese.
off that cake. She trying to trap a nigga.
Oh man.
That WNBA money ain't gonna be. Be quiet. She's cute though, but it's her eyes though. Like
Her
I
eyes.
don't know. Yeah, her eyes.
Is it the lashes? Maybe it's the lashes.
Yeah, they kind of be throwing me off sometimes, but she's
Yeah.
still fine though.
Man, we want to get some comments from women viewers talking about black women's lashes.
That'd be all right.
I'm sorry. We didn't have that back in the day. It was we talked to a female and she had like long ass eyelashes and shit. You know. But I mean, like I said, like his later releases, like the keynote speaker, Venom, those were good. I like those because the production was better.
Yeah, I
But
gotta agree. I gotta
I'm
get Venom
I
again.
I could understand you guys why he's mad because it's not his it's not his fault. It's not RZA's fault. RZA just had floods and everything just happened the way that it did. So I understand why he was mad at RZA for a minute. You know, like you putting out Ray and Meth. What about my project? I
But
get it.
but but
That
if you
motherfucking Inspector Deck album, man. That
Right.
jeez.
but if you look at Wu Tang like a batting order, like in baseball,
Uh-huh. What you mean?
like there's 9 members in Wu Tang, similar to there's 9 hitters in the batting lineup, right?
Right.
So leadoff was Method Man, right?
Right.
Then the cleanup was only built for Cuban links.
Hmm.
Somebody has to be the last batter. Like somebody has to be
Yeah.
got to got to hit ninth. And
Right.
unfortunately, it was you God. I mean,
Right.
Capadonna had an album out before him,
His was good.
and the Pillage was dope.
Yeah.
And like you God, he's an interesting character because like he dissed Sons of Man. Like I get it, like you mad that RZA put that Sons of Man had a better album than you, but
Hmm.
it ain't
Motherfucking
Sons of
Killer
Man's
Army came out
fault.
with albums to him.
Yeah, exactly. Like the street spoke, but like Wolf fans gravitated to Sons of Man because they liked the music and it spoke to them.
Right.
At some point, you gotta just chalk it up to like, hey, it wasn't in the cards. Like if anybody should feel cheated, it should be Inspector Deck.
Right.
But you don't
Yeah.
hear Inspector Deck constantly whining and complaining
I
about
mean,
his career.
each of them got different personalities, so they're gonna take
Hmm.
shit differently. I mean, you don't see Tony Yayo bitching and complaining about what 50 didn't do for her. I mean, he put out Thoughts of a Predicate Felony, and that's his only solo
But
album,
see,
but he's still torn.
50 had he put money set aside
Yeah.
for Yayo when he was locked up. Because remember,
And plus,
Yayo
he
was
on
not on that.
mixtapes with them niggas though, so you know he still
Remember,
gotta get
Yayo's
stuff.
not on that first unit album.
Yeah, he
You
was
know what I'm
locked up
saying?
at the time.
And 50 could have been like, I'm keeping this money for myself, but he looked out for his friend.
You gotta have a strong team behind you,
Yeah,
man. A lot of these niggas don't have a strong team behind them. That's why these niggas won't putting out albums, and that's what I didn't like about Murder Inc. I
right.
mean, you putting all your eggs in a basket with Ja Rule and Ashanti. I'm like, where's
Hmm.
these other niggas
I
albums at? I
agree.
wanted to hear Vita out. I wanted to hear
Facts.
I wanted to hear I wanted to hear
Yeah,
yeah, Black China.
Ty Murder,
yeah, facts.
and I thought like I believe you remember when Ty had POV City.
That was from the Fast and Furious 2 soundtrack.
Yep,
Yeah.
and it sounded like a ringtone.
Uh huh.
That should have been the perfect opportunity for Murder Inc. to drop Ty's
To drop his album.
album
Yeah,
right then.
I agree.
Who cares if it doesn't go double platinum? Like
Exactly.
that's
They
still
gonna ship you gold, nigga. They gonna make you get that gold plat.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it would have been easier for Ty to reach gold behind POV. Like Black Child got the raw end.
Yeah.
Like if you ask most people who is Black Child, they're going to remember Black Child on that Beef DVD talking about I'm in
Mm-hmm.
the hood because I'm going to make a difference.
Yeah.
And you know damn well that Black Child did not believe that at all. Like if
Motherfucker,
it was
J.R.
up to
Ryder got
him,
an album up for that nigga. Damn.
Right.
yeah.
You know, and
Purple
yeah,
City.
like hmm? now, I mean, I agree. Like I've been saying that, like they had a full roster, and it was only about Ja Rule and Ashanti, and Irv Gotti fucked that whole shit up.
You could have kept them for the mainstream to keep these other niggas for the streets. And you could have
What
had
was the
Vita
what
be
was
the
the
battle.
point of signing? Charlie Baltimore came from a Epic where they shelved her album. Then she goes to Murder Inc. and then they shelve her album. What was the point of signing her then?
She getting the Rod Digger treatment. At least he had one album out. Dirty Harriet. I
Yeah,
mean, Charlie Baltimore
yeah,
didn't even get to have an
exactly.
album.
But you that official Charlie Baltimore album was never released. That's why you have to
Yeah.
get it online.
And I remember like they like Murder Inc. Like they made like album posters
Yeah,
for her album.
We
yep.
about to sign Nas to Murder
Yeah.
Inc.
I was on that street team. Like they gave us like stickers. I still got stickers. Like they had like when they were doing like the ink when they changed the name to the ink. They had like
Mhm.
a whole sticker and poster where like Irv Gotti was like dressed up in like a white suit and like the whole Gambino Mafia look.
Yeah,
That
with
was the thing.
the white fedora.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the
I got
thing.
that. I
We
got
were
that
putting that
compilation
out.
album.
We were putting the posters out for that, the stickers and all that. You know what I'm saying? And it was like they had a whole roster. They were talking about signing Bobby Brown, signing Nas, signing Shine. They didn't do none of that. Nas didn't even want to sign with them. He didn't want to
They
sign
ain't
with them.
having no dough to get King Escobar.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, he clearly would have been the star that roster. That's why he didn't sign with them.
It would have been like Tupac with Snoop Dogg. It would have been a whole conflict with Ja
Yeah.
Rule and
You know,
Nas.
they wanted to sign Hussein Fatal before he passed away. You know, because he was all over the Blood in My Eye album with Ja Rule.
But you know
You
what?
know what I'm
Like
saying?
Nas on Murder Inc. would have posed a big problem for this reason, and this reason only. Nas is a bigger artist than
And
Ja
Ja Rule.
Rule.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Like it's not
Right.
like I think Irv Gotti. I think his goal was to do for Nas what Suge did for Tupac,
Right.
but
Right.
the circumstances were totally different.
Facts. I agree. And even that song, The Pledge, I was like, he don't fit with Ja Rule and Ashanti on that song.
Yo, it was like fitting a square peg in a
Yeah.
circle.
I feel like that was more of him getting back at Jay-Z. That's what it was. Like him and Jay were feuding that time, and I felt like Nas needed somebody to click up with, and he said, "Let me click up with Murder Inc. You know,
Yeah,
let's go against the Rock." And I'm like, nah, that's you don't fit with him.
and then Irv Gotti played himself because Nas dipped and he
Yeah,
burned the bridge with
No, you
with
can't sign
Hove.
me, kid.
yeah,
Your dough ain't up, son.
facts.
Facts.
You know, but yeah, so that like the top 20 list, they got Missy Elliott with Super Duper Fly. She was 20. They had Public Enemy was 19 when it takes a nation of millions to hold us back. They had that NWA was 18 straight out of Compton. Some people say it should have been higher. You know, De La with Thief Down and Rising. Their list, they had like the classics. They just had the wrong placement. You know, number one was Illmatic. To me, they got it right with that. I would have said Illmatic as well.
They could set crack prices. I probably will never be able to get the OG copy of it.
Which one?
Illmatic.
On vinyl?
No, a cassette.
Oh, the
Oh
cassette.
hell no, man! That's going like for thousands of dollars.
That album came out a day before my birthday, after my birthday, like when I was born.
They had the Chronic at number 2. They had Lauryn Hill at number 3.
Of course they did.
Outkast with a Criminal was number 4. They had Life After Death was number 5. All Eyes on Me was 6. Doggy Style was 7. Paid in Full was 8. Blueprint was 9. And Slick Rick was number 10. So they had the classics in there. They just, you know, depending on who you ask, some of the albums were like, you know, wrong placement.
I can only imagine if they did one for female rappers, that shit would be all over the place.
Right? They would have Ice Spice in there and Sexy Red and all these other people.
Yeah.
What's your thing about their top 10? Was it accurate?
I wouldn't even know shit about it if you didn't say nothing. So it's just another list to me.
I've seen a lot of like people like post up they were complaining about the placements for some of the albums.
I mean, I would have had Paid in Full higher than All Eyes on Me.
Yeah, that was number 8 for Paid in Full.
They didn't have Let the Riddle hit them on there?
For Paid in Full?
The other album, Let the Riddle.
Nah, that wasn't on it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that was Eric B and Rakim's 4th album. To me, I think Father of a Leader is a better album.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with either of them though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ghetto Boys, We Can't Be Stopped was 97.
They did a top 100. I thought it was only 50.
Top 100. 96 was Run DMC, Raising Hell, but to me should have been higher. That's only because I grew up with that album. It should have been higher for me. But Mama Said Knock You Out was 95. That should have been higher. Business as Usual was 94.
Hold on. Go back to where was LL's Mama Said Knock You Out album?
That was 97. 95, my bad.
That is way too low.
Yeah. That's what I said. Like that some of the albums were in the wrong placements.
I know they don't got Walking in the Panther on there because I know how Reg feel about the album.
Yo.
I mean, 95, but which is ironic because I always say 95 was the last time he had a classic album with Mr. Smith.
Yo, he has a song on that album called Hip Hop.
Yeah,
and it's like his ode to hip hop, and
I love that song.
And he mentions a lot of contemporary and old school rappers. But yeah, you're right. Like after Phenomenon, I was like my expectations got lower and lower, especially the song and the music video.
Yeah,
the music video and the song for Phenomenon.
It was shining through. So it was that was like the glossy
music video for that.
The glossy Hype Williams, Fisheye Lens era.
That Jay-Z Sunshine type vibes. I see.
Yep.
I want the streets is watching, Jigga. Come on, man.
And MTV played that. All those type of videos they played every hour on the hour.
Facts.
And for the only thing I bought from Phenomenon was the 4321 single because that's the single with the Cannabis was on that. I had the whole beef with Cannabis and LL, but all those other songs he did something with New Edition on there was garbage.
I felt like. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say I feel like Phenomenon. I felt like I can hear where he's been away from the booth too long because this was around the time he had that sitcom.
Yeah, Get in the House.
Yeah,
he had wrote a book like his autobiography. But he was talking about like fucking pregnant chicks on staircases and shit.
And like I remember reading that book, and it did provide a lot of insight into like a lot of his early life in the industry, like womanizing and chasing after women and blowing money. I thought it was a good book, but all people remember is Cannabis mocking LL for his hypocrisy on Ripper Strikes Back.
Right. Yeah, but it wasn't a good album though, and I think that's when I started. And to me, I didn't like Walking with a Panther. I know Reg loves that, but I started to see the cracks with that. And then he redeemed himself with Mom Knock You Out and Mr. Smith, and then he went back to relapsing with with Phenomenon and everything else. The GOAT was good.
How do you feel about 14 Shots to the Dome?
That was underrated. Always been an underrated album, and
Never
I
gave that
think
album a chance.
I think people didn't take that seriously because it was at a time when like you had a lot of artists that chose to do the hardcore sound. Like Heavy D and the Boys had Blue Funk. That was like his hardest album. Queen Latifah had Black Rain. That was like another hard edge album for her. The youngsters come out with Aftermath. Onyx came out with Back the Fuck Up. So '93 was like a year of like a lot of harder edge rap that came out. And I think when people heard How I'm Coming, they were like, nah, I want to hear another Around the Way Girl. And he was like, we off that already.
And
You know what I mean?
90
This is a harder LL.
and 93 was a loaded year for rap
Yeah,
music.
definitely.
Like,
Definitely.
just imagine going to the record store. Like,
Mm-hmm. I
if you
did.
got,
Every week I was seemingly there every week. I was like, yo, let me get Lords of the Underground. Let me get, Onyx album. Jasmine Taz came out that year. You know what I mean? There was a lot of heavy hitters that came out.
I just got Master Aces on sitting on Chrome on vinyl, so I'm gonna get
Love
that a
that.
spin when I get a chance.
Classic
yo,
album.
quick confession. I do not like. I understand its significance,
Mm-hmm.
but when that album came out, I was kind of off of Ace. I do
Really?
not. Yeah, like to me, it sounded like Ace was like. I felt like he was riding like a West Coast trend.
Right.
I might be off base,
No,
but
but it's people that feel like that too over here. That he was Dick riding the West Coast sound.
yeah, and
Now,
like the first album, Take a Look Around. By no means is it a classic. Is it a great album? And I believe that was his last album on Cold Chillin' when he switched to Delicious
Yeah.
Vinyl.
Yeah.
So maybe he just wanted a new sound. But at the
Mm-hmm.
time, I was like,
wanted a fresh start.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I,
that's
I I
exactly what he
think
wanted.
I
I
also
just
think it
wasn't
was
willing to
good
accept
way
it.
to introduce the INC, to introduce Lord Digger and what's her name?
Paula Perry.
Yeah, Paula Perry and the other woman. I forgot her name. I'm forgetting names and shit.
Yeah.
There was another female with them. Um, but I think it was a good. I love the album. I think it was good. But there was people here saying that like, why is he trying to sound like the West Coast? This whole when Born the Road came out, it was like Master Ace ain't from California. Why is he trying
Man,
to sound like
everybody
that?
ain't trying to be like East Coast all the time. We want a different
I
perspective,
know, but
a
it
different
was like,
takes.
remember, we in the midst of this whole East Coast West Coast thing, and we
Yeah,
had one
no,
of our
just fucking with
own
y'all.
that was doing what they were doing. You know what I'm
If
saying?
Tupac can do it, I can do it too.
And and around, if you really think about it, I think, okay, if you look at Cold Chillin', the
Mhm.
Juice Crew,
Yeah,
by 93, Kane, I hate to say it, kind of fell off. Roxanne Shante, her last album came out in 92. She
right,
was riding the wave of, niggas ain't shit.
right.
What's that album? I can't think of it right now.
The
So
bitches
Roxanne
back.
Shante, huh?
You talk about her album that came out.
In 92.
I
Because,
forgot what that shit
The
called.
bitch is back or something
but
like that. It's
Yeah, that's
called.
what I was saying. Yeah.
yeah, because the
Yeah,
INC, the Slaughterhouse album came out in 93. So
right.
Kane was kind of off the map. Roxanne
Mhm.
Shante was enjoying her last hurrah. So really, it was down to really Master Ace
Right.
and G Rap.
Yeah.
So in '93, I wasn't feeling Master Ace, but I do give him credit for reinventing himself because Kane, Kane put out more albums, but his
He
like his prime was gone.
he was
Yeah.
fascinated with radio. Remember that, like when he was doing like Very Special, coming out with that, Groove with It, coming out with that, the Barry
Yeah,
White, the Patti LaBelle feature. Like he was infatuated with mainstream. being
For the
part of the
lover in
Madonna
you.
sex book.
He was the smooth man at that time.
Yeah, but he took it too seriously at that point. You know what I'm
And
saying? And it's like we wanted to hear "Set It Off" and "Raw Kane," and he wanted to do very special.
yeah,
That's what ruined him.
and then he had For the Lover in You,
Right,
you know,
loving you, right. And then
grinding over Pop
he did
Like.
the Madonna sex book. And then at that time, when I was still I was when I was in elementary school, it was like the whole AIDS rumor came out about him. Like, oh, he got AIDS and this and that. You have to address that.
Yeah,
That was like a real thing.
I think you made a good point. Like, I think he did not understand what his audience wanted,
Right.
and I get, like I don't begrudge King for wanting to expand his horizon, and maybe uh, enjoy the spoils of his work. Like, who wouldn't? Like, what man would turn down being around Madonna? Now,
Right.
being in a sex book, that's something else. I think you know I you know hindsight is 2020, but I wonder, like, if today's music industry was around in 1991 or 92, would he have had a better shot at
Yeah.
having a longer career?
I think that would have worked better now for him than compared to back then because we wasn't ready for all that. Like you being a part of Madonna's sex book and all that, we wasn't ready for that. You know what I'm saying? The Patti
Right.
LaBelle feature, you know what I mean? Like, and the thing is, Kane know that because when you see Kane live, if you ever see Kane live,
He don't
only
perform none of
shit
those
from his first
songs.
two albums.
He performed
He
none
don't
of them
perform
damn songs.
nothing
He's up
from.
there dancing.
He don't do nothing past it's a Big Daddy thing. And he even did that for the verses when he was battling KRS One. He didn't perform nothing from his other albums.
He
He
didn't
didn't
After
perform
perform
nothing.
nothing
It looked
from.
like a job for.
nah, he didn't do that from there.
Damn.
Nah,
Well, that I Get the Job Done was from It's a Big Daddy thing.
that
That
was
was
from
his
it's a Big
second
Daddy thing,
album.
huh?
Yeah, that was his second album in
Yeah,
'89.
he only do shit from the first two albums. He don't do nothing past that.
Taste the Chocolate came out in 1990.
Yeah,
Prince
that
of
was
Darkness
after.
came out in '91,
Right.
and then How a Rapper Get a Record
Yeah.
Deal came out in
That
'93.
was 93.
So
Yeah.
90, 91, 93, he doesn't do none of those songs
No.
because
And
he
then he got the
knows.
94 album. He got Daddy's Home.
Yeah.
That he don't do
Oh
shit from
my
that
god.
album.
That's a
Yo,
cringe-worthy ass album cover.
and then Veterans Day in '98. Like, that album is so sad.
I threw that shit away.
I
I'm
actually
getting
got
like
that
tired. I
album,
had to
yo.
throw that shit away, man. I
I
kept the
think
case
I
though.
want to say Reg sent me that. Somebody sent me that album, but that album was fire. Just that we was already
Veterans
off
Day?
Kane. I liked it. We were just already off Kane. Come like
Oh,
93,
Lord.
94.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And looks like a Job for was a solid album. It's dope. It wasn't promoted right.
I
He
mean,
only
it
released
had.
like maybe 2 singles from that album.
I mean, it had Mortal Kombat on it. Like Mortal Kombat is probably the closest song to anything on Long Live the King, as far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned.
Yeah. You know,
And then they had Pimpin' Ain't Easy with CL Smooth.
right. You know, I mean, it's almost like Kane almost had like only a 2 good album run, which is sad. I'm like, this man is a legend. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I want to kid when I see Kane live, I want to see him perform his other stuff from his other albums, and you only stick to those 2 albums, which is not good.
When it was announced that KRS-One and King was battling in the verses, in my heart, I believe that Kane is a better live performer
Right.
than Chris. Yes,
KRS-One killed it though.
yeah,
He killed it.
but to me, like, Chris had just had a longer run, man. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he was doing My Friend,
Right.
the MC from I
Mhm.
Got Next, and like, if you look at Chris's run, to me his run ended in '97.
Yeah.
Like, he got other albums like the Spiritual Minded album in 2001, but nobody heard that.
Right.
His Jive Records run is amazing.
I like the Chris Styles album. That was actually decent.
Which album?
Chris Styles.
I'm really shaking on this discography. Y'all know more about
okay.
KRS-One's
I want to say that was
than I
like
do.
maybe like early 2000s that came out, the Chris Styles album. But that was
Okay.
actually dope. It was no promotion for that though.
Yeah. Which I oh no was the you remember the real hip hop is over here? That was a white label, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't associated with any album, right?
Nah, I don't see. I stopped listening after I got next album. So I didn't hear Sneak Attack. Um,
Yeah, that was on Koch, I believe.
yeah, because like Koch was like releasing a lot of like those independently artists. You know, Dipset was over there. They had I think Federal Star was with them at one point. Joel Ortiz was with them.
And I think Koch. I mean, side note, I think Koch was a decent label.
Yeah,
I mean, they like the music. I enjoyed a lot of the music, but it was a shoestring operation.
yeah,
So when people judge, certain artists' careers that drop albums on Koch,
hmm
to me, the problem wasn't the music. The problem was the label didn't have the reach. It didn't
yeah.
have the same reach as their former labels. But
Facts,
to me, it's not a knock on their music late in
facts.
their careers.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, and it's especially at that time. That was like during the mixtape era when we wasn't really buying. I didn't buy a lot of albums compared to the mixtape. Like I bought a shitload of mixtapes during that time, but unless it was like a special release, I wasn't buying a lot of like retail albums of that.
Yeah,
From
them
And,
mixtape.
mixtapes was better than some niggas' albums and shit. I
Yeah,
was like,
that's the
yeah,
thing.
I'm getting these
So
albums,
like
man.
a
The
lot of
whole
those
the whole
Cox
G Unit
releases got slept
mixtapes.
on.
and the reason why the mixtapes had so much appeal with all of us,
Yeah.
there's more value in the mixtape. Like I can with a mixtape out of what 30 songs, I
hmm
can listen to all of my favorites on
Yeah.
one mixtape. A lot
Right.
of them you're going to get free exclusive freestyles, unreleased songs. You're
Right.
going to hear certain rappers rhyme together that
Yeah.
aren't part of each other's group. So if it came down to like, let's say, a DJ K Slade mixtape and let's say a Snoop Dogg album,
hmm
I don't heard Snoop Dogg rhyme one, two, three, three into the four like so many
Right.
times. Like I don't need to hear another Snoop Dogg album ever again. I'm going to
Right.
pick up this K Slade album.
Yep.
That's how my thought process was.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't
It's
tell you
it's
certain
fact.
things after maybe the certain albums he put out on No Limit, then it's get real shaky after that.
I love the Lone Limit run he had.
I'm
I think
glad
it
you
was
do, man.
phenomenal.
Shout out to you. I'm proud of you,
The,
man.
the, the three albums, I think that's his best shit after Doggy Style. You know what I'm saying? Like for him to be able to get off of death row and have Masterpiece save him and put him on No Limit, and he did his thing on No Limit, and it
Had to
wasn't
get
it
away from
wasn't. I don't
Slug,
feel like
man.
he had to sacrifice his sound just because he
Yeah.
was with Master P, because he still had G Funk on it. I love that album.
Look at you,
Love it.
man, just showing off, lucky bastard. I
He
see
had
you.
to, yeah, he's a collector too, Eric. Like Baka
Yeah.
got joints.
This is up.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
Like to me, and people look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, yo, Snoop Dogg had a phenomenal run on No Limit. You know,
yo,
mhm,
yo, and to me, like this album was produced entirely by Beats by the Pound.
right,
And I enjoyed this album more
mhm,
than the Dog Father 10 times over.
definitely immature. Oh Lord,
I do. I
I didn't
forgot.
expect to
I
see that
forgot.
at all.
I forgot what album that came out. It was like in '93 or '94.
Was
I
that
forgot what.
the album? That's the album with the love song they had that blew up.
Which one you talking about?
What's it called? Never cry for you or something like that. I forgot the name of that love song that
My
they had.
favorite song. My favorite song for that is the "I Don't Mind." I like the remix version of
Okay,
that shit. That shit fire.
yeah,
I forgot what album that came out on. That's the one I need, but they don't got it on vinyl and shit.
yeah. Like the Snoop run was just dope to see. Was I was happy for him. Like he finally left Death Row, and people loved Dogfather. Dogfather was okay. It wasn't no classic. I don't know how people feel like that's a classic like Doggy Style. I'm like, there's no song on Dogfather that's fucking with any song on Doggy Style. Love
Yo,
that album.
let me ask you a question
Uh,
because I've heard some people say that Dog Father isn't that bad. This is how I could tell. This is how I always get people on this.
uh,
When you anybody that has seen Snoop Dogg in concert, I have.
I have two.
Has he? ever perform any song
He did.
from
He
the
did one.
Dogfather.
He did the only song he did when I saw him in 2019. He did Upside Your Head. That's the only song he did from that album.
I mean, look, that's easy to do because you got Charlie Wilson on the
Right.
hook, and I
But
get
see,
it.
but Charlie wasn't there though, so he was just playing like his background vocals.
But you know what though? But the thing is, Snoop Upside Your Head, it was the first single. The first single carried the album to platinum.
It was catchy, Gap Band sample,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you listen to that album, I'll give you an example. There's a song on there called Freestyle Conversation.
Right.
How does his rapping sound?
I don't even remember that song.
It's forgettable.
It is.
When I say that the Dogfather isn't a good album, I'm talking about his rapping. Like he had producers, he had Daz, he had DJ Pooh. Yeah. So the production wasn't so much of a problem as Snoop sounding lazy, sounding like his voice he didn't rise above a whisper.
Yeah.
The best song on that album, what's the best song on that album?
Because I don't got one. Like I said, I barely remember the album. Like I remember the songs. Like the Dogfather was dope. I like that. I think Daz produced that one.
Yeah.
And he had a video for that and Snoop Upside Your Head. But I've heard the album. I had to listen to it when we did the Snoop discography breakdown a couple years ago. But I never bought it, and I don't remember track for track. I know track for track with Doggy Style. Nothing on Dogfather's fucking with Doggy.
I never owned the Dogfather a day in my life. I can't tell you shit about the album except
it has a cult following now.
But he was looking sad as hell on the album cover though. That's the only thing I remember
about it. Following when I got on the internet, I'm like, because before nobody was talking about that album.
Yo, and that I'll tell you, like the best song on that album to me is the last song.
Okay,
it's called "Downtown Assassins."
Okay,
with Daz. That's the best song lyrically. Like it's a storytelling song about how Daz, Snoop, and Trey D, they're organized crime mafiosos.
Mm-hmm.
And I know somebody had to wrote that verse for Snoop because Snoop didn't sound anywhere near as good on
the DOC
Downtown Assassins. Probably.
Wow.
But you know what? Like in '96, when Dogfather came out, it came out after Tupac's death.
Yeah.
And it was the first Death Row release after Tupac had died.
Mm-hmm.
But the album, the next album that Death Row released after the Dogfather was Machiavelli.
Right.
Machiavelli outsold the Dogfather like damn near 3-1, and it's a way better album.
It's a better album, yeah.
So first nigga.
Yeah, exactly. So as far as I'm concerned, like the nostalgia for the Dogfather that people have, to me, it feels revisionist because that wasn't the sentiment in '96, at least not to me.
Yeah, I don't think Snoop was. You could tell he wasn't fully in that project. There's a lot going on.
Yeah,
and I don't fault him for that. It's just that it just was what people say is a classic. I'm like, compared to Doggy Style. They gotta be honest with themselves. Y'all know, for people that are saying that they love the Dogfather and it was a classic. What song on Dogfather was fucking with any song on Doggy Style? You know what I'm saying? Because when Doggy Style came out,
I can't say nothing about it,
album.
but I can tell you when nothing fucking with Doggy Style. If you
before that album came out, everybody anticipated that album. Like we knew something special was gonna drop when Doggy Style came out. We didn't think we were anticipating Dogfather like that. We were still hurt that Pac had just passed away. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was thinking about. I'm like, damn, Pac is gone. Like, I don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? We were mourning. Like, when Dogfather dropped, I'm like, oh, Dogfather dropped. Nobody cared.
I can tell you didn't give a fuck about the album cover. I bet when you looked at this shit, you like, man, this ain't gonna be good.
I mean, I didn't know because I didn't know what to expect. This was like,
there
was not like Doggy Style. You know what I mean?
There was no way to know what the Dogfather sounded like.
Right. We didn't have no internet or nothing like that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, and that was before when they put like the sound stations in the record stores. That didn't happen until like the 2000s. So we didn't know what to expect. I just was like, oh, it's out. I didn't rush to go get it though.
And you know, I think I bought the Dog Fiber site unheard. I mean, I heard Snoop Upside Your Head,
Right,
and it was catchy.
right.
So I bought it I bought it on the strength that this is, you know, this coming off of Dog Fiber.
It's gonna be good.
When I played it, I remember I couldn't get into the songs. Like, for
Right.
example, I remember the song on side one called Gold Rush.
Gold Rush, I remember. I remember that
Gold
one.
Rush with Corrupt.
You,
Yeah.
you said side one. It was a double disc.
No,
No.
you talking on the
On
cassette.
cassette.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And it had like a country western feel,
Yeah.
like Gunsmoke.
hmm
It was okay. Then the Vapors came on,
Vapors, yeah. He released that too. I forgot about that.
and I felt like, yo, I swear to God, Charborough, I felt like it's a damn shame.
I
The
I
best song, the best
bro, I
song
remember seeing that video and I'm like, why he doing another rendition? You already did Lottie Dottie on Doggy Style.
right, and to me, I felt it was the best song on side one.
Right.
That was a damn shame that you had to. It's essentially a cover,
Yeah.
and I'm like, none of your own songs is as good as
Right.
Kane's, you know, pen. Because that's how I looked at it. Like,
Yeah.
damn, like Kane is the MVP of side one because Kane wrote the Vapors.
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I think that's why I never bought it. I'm like, I ain't care. But when I heard I had gotten the Last Meal for Christmas when Last Meal came out. I was like, yo,
Mhm.
this shit is fire. And I forgot he was on No Limit. And I remember when the other No Limit albums came out, but I'm like, yo, I have to go back and get those. So I'm like, yo, he had a great 3 album run on No Limit when you look back at it.
I'm getting all the motherfuckers.
You know what I'm
They
saying?
call
Like when you look at his discography now and looking back at it, he had a great 3 album run on No Limit that nobody mentions. They mentioned Doggy Style, and then you got the Dogfather fans that come out of nowhere. But after that, it's like it's hit or miss because it's like, you know, like there's albums that I like that people don't like. You know,
And, and you know, on No Limit Top Dog, he had the biggest hit
yeah,
in years with Bitch Please with Exhibit.
definitely. That was
Yo, Bitch
everything.
Please was a big hit.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like Snoop Dogg had finally got his footing, and it was produced by Dre.
hmm Yeah, that was everywhere when that came out. Exhibit, that's one of Exhibit's best features to me.
And oh, go ahead.
I like that fuck the mother niggas with C Murder. He killed
Yeah,
that shit,
Yeah,
man.
that was dope
That
too.
shit fire.
fucking love it.
Yeah.
And that was a burner. But you know, Bitch Please, it had such an impact, so much so that Eminem did his own version of it on the Marshall Mathers LP
Right.
too.
Part two, right.
Even when he he started with the you know how Snoop Dogg has that weird flow, and then
Mhm.
Eminem just he did his own version of it.
Yeah,
Snoop Slam Dog 30-inch balls or something like that.
right. That's right. Yeah, that was fire.
Yeah, he killed me when we was saying that shit. The first time I heard it, I was like, damn, Snoop, what you on?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and like he had like Rhythm and Gangsta. I thought it was fire. That was a dope album. Um, what's the other joint?
Blue Carbon Treatment.
Blue Carpet Treatment to me was great. Great
What
album.
about Pay the Cost to Be the Boss?
Hey, the call was that was dope too. It got slept on. You know what I'm saying?
That's
He
a
had some.
fire ass album,
Primo was
man.
on that. Yeah, Primo do some shit. I think Jay-Z was on the feature on that album, and
Man, there's a song on that album called Batman and Robin with
yes, with
Radio
Rage.
Rage. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
That should have been a single. That should have been a single.
Yo, they killed it with the Batman and Robin thing. Like,
Yeah.
and you know, it had been years since I heard Lady of Rage, and I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, and then RBX, he was playing like the
Yes.
narrator.
Yeah.
To me, like that should have been a single because first of all, like Batman, just Batman alone,
Yeah,
it would have carried a lot of nostalgia,
definitely.
and you can be very creative with the video. You could have like Rage,
Hmm.
in the Batmobile with Snoop, and
That's exactly what I told Reg. I'm like, bro, they needed a video for that.
hmm
You
And
know,
speaking of Lady of Rage,
uh,
this shit might sound funny, but she's playing Miss
it's
Cleo in a
Cleo. Yeah,
Lifetime
I
movie.
saw the trailer. Yep,
I'm like, what is going on here,
I have
Lifetime?
no
Y'all
idea.
must just running out of things to come up with.
Crazy.
That channel ruined my childhood. I hated every time my mom turned this shit on.
Yeah, and I like the fact that Snoop brought them back for the Dog Pound album, the new one.
yo, who the hardest?
Yo,
My God,
that's a banger. The album is a classic already. I told people it's my top two favorite albums of 2024. Is that and Common and Pete Rock.
and
Easily.
this is, and it's the I believe it's the first rap album under Snoop's
Death Row.
stewardship of Death Row.
Yeah,
I thought Snoop did a great job executive producing it.
definitely. He's
Like,
doing it. He's promoting it the right way. They got like 5, 6 singles out. They going on tour. He's doing it the right way for them, and that's how. There's time that they.
and has
Mhm.
and has a lot of great exposure. Like we got.
Yeah,
Like I believe Snoop gave that album as much exposure
yeah,
as he could.
definitely.
Like especially it was a pleasure just hearing Corrupt
Yeah,
in its element again. Like I
definitely.
haven't.
And he sounds like vintage Corrupt. He ain't sound like crackhead Corrupt. He sound like lyricist. Like, Corrupt had
You,
fall off for a
you
while,
see
and
what
I blame
happened
the
when you
drugs for
leave the
that.
drugs alone, people?
I blame the drugs for that. There
Yeah,
was a time when he was on like marriage boot camp with his shorty. I'm like, what you doing, Corrupt? Come on.
Yo, didn't even sound this good on the Horseman album with
Facts.
Razzcast and
Facts.
uh, Killer Priest.
Yeah. He sound like old
I do need
Corrupt.
to get this Soul on Ice album though.
He sounded great. And it's like grown up gangster rap. Like they're not talking about killing people. They talking about having a family and
Yeah,
grandkids, and I love it.
they don't got
I
to do
think
that.
it's a
They
great
old now.
album.
They've been through all that.
Yeah. And it shows in the music. I think it's a great album.
And if you want to hear any of that, you can just listen to their solo
Exactly.
albums
They solo stuff,
for
Yeah.
right?
that.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell you right now, like I was really disappointed with the Corruption album,
Yeah.
Corrupt's double album.
Yeah.
I thought it should have been way better.
I
It should
only
have been
know
better,
one
yeah.
song off there, and freaking you.
It should have been better.
We can freak it. That's the only song I know.
Mm-hmm.
I never listened
Yeah.
to it. Never owned it.
Yeah.
There's a song on there called "Light That Shit Up" with Buckshot, produced
Yeah.
by Easy Mo B.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking like, man, this is going to be on some, back and forth. You got Buckshot and Corrupt, like we're
Right.
going to spaz lyrically, and
Mm-hmm.
it didn't live up to the
It
billing,
didn't
at
live
least
to
not
it,
to
yeah.
me.
It should have just been a West Coast album instead of just an East Coast West
Right.
Coast album.
You know.
And then
Yeah.
like I felt because that came out in '98,
Yeah.
and what in Dad's album Retaliation, Revenge, and Get
That
Back,
was dope.
that was way better.
Definitely.
So I'm like,
Oh
damn,
no, that's my shit right there.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
Play It partner.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
As a matter of fact, like
You got it on tape?
Absolutely.
Oh,
You know he
man.
Hold
do.
on.
I see you, man. Just showing up.
Wow. That shit is out of print. I always wanted to get that album too. I never got it.
I
Yo,
never
I-
realized that album cover was one of Marvin Gaye's
Yeah.
album covers. Shit
In
first.
my lifetime,
That's great, man.
and like I got the CD also,
Yeah.
but I played it so many times, like the CD cover is busted.
Oh, man.
Because I bought this first,
Yeah.
but then this was at a time when like cassette players were starting to be phased out,
Yeah.
so I just wound up buying the CD,
Mhm.
and I played it so many times, like the cover was the CD cover was cracked and it was busted.
Oh man.
Yo, because man, Daz's production, I don't care what nobody says. At
Underrated.
least on this, at least on this album,
Mm-hmm.
his beats was better than anything Dre was producing at
Definitely,
this time.
definitely. And that was at the time when Dre was coming out with that Aftermath compilation. I did not like that, and I have it too.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not like the what was on there though. Like the beats wasn't great. Like how we hear Dre now was 10 times better.
Man, I remember on that Aftermath compilation,
Mm,
RBX had a song on it called
yeah.
Blunt Time.
Uh huh.
And I'm like, this thing hitting like
Yeah.
the prop like I'm glad RBX was in the fold,
Mm,
but it just sounded like a throwaway.
yeah. It
Like
was. I mean, it was a transitional period for Dre. That's how I looked at it. Like I don't fault him for that. But like
mhm.
once he got settled in, that's when we started to hear the classic Dre.
Was that the compilation with like
Yeah,
the
with the
bomb on
bomb.
the album cover?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then there
that album is severely slept on.
and then there was another song on that album, the Aftermath compilation, where he redid Fame,
Mm,
and the chorus is terrible.
yeah.
Like, like you had some singer that's stretching out the Fame, like you know on David Bowie's version, like
Mm,
Fame,
yeah.
like he
No,
put Dre put so many vocal effects on it. It just sounded
Yeah.
it
oh
just
well,
sounded
It,
like air pollution.
that
I
whole
never
like
heard
if
it.
you look at the track listing, like half of those artists ain't even on Aftermath. They're not even around no more.
Nope.
RC, like I'm like, who the hell is RC?
RC
I know
Cole or
RC
something.
Cola. Shit. I don't
I'm
even
like,
think
who
he
are these
still make
artists? I
that
don't know
stuff.
none of
Shit.
them.
Yeah, yeah,
You
we're
know?
thinking the same thing. RC Cola.
Yeah, he had
Yeah.
Dawn Robinson, and then she gave him problems, and she ended up leaving.
He probably was fucking him.
Yo, you know another artist. He wasn't on the Aftermath compilation,
Mm.
but as celebrated as Dre is, why doesn't anybody ever give Dre any flack for the artists that he takes under him and they don't do anything? Like Hitman. Hitman was all over 2001.
Yeah,
Whatever happened to him?
he
That
was slated to
Lightspeed, that's
come
my
out.
shit right there. That's my
He,
favorite song.
he was slated to come out. He never came out.
I got his album too. I just ordered. I just got that.
Who Hitman?
Yeah.
The unreleased album?
I guess it is, but
Yeah,
it's like
because
a black
it never
album
came
cover.
out.
It's one of his albums though, but I don't know.
I never heard it.
It's like a black album cover.
And
Because I remember like at the end of the "Forgot About Me" video, there was a
Yeah,
snippet.
he had a verse.
Yeah, I'm
that's
I
like,
was
right.
yo,
feeling
is
that
this going
shit.
to
I
be
was
a?
like, who is this nigga?
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
I thought that was going to be a single.
Yeah,
The
and we
way he was
didn't
rapping,
hear
I
shit
could have
from him.
seen Exhibit on that beat. I was like, yeah, I can
Yeah.
see
Hmm.
Exhibit on that shit. That shit's fire. Or Mac 10 or
Um.
something. Or Dub
Yeah,
C.
it's like I mean Drake did that a lot. Like he signed Joel Ortiz, he didn't never came out. Rakim, he had the problems with him. You know, Bishop
Last
Lamont.
Emperor.
Yeah, and I remember hearing the Bishop Lamont songs on the Shady radio. They were playing like the unreleased tracks.
Hmm.
Never came out with the album.
To me, like the way I totally believe Rakim. Like to me, like a lot of people have Dre as the greatest hip hop producer of all time.
Mm.
How do you drop the ball with Rakim?
He wanted hooks. He said
Yeah, that
Rakim couldn't
18th
make
letter is
hooks.
underrated from 97.
You know, I don't know. He had King T. That album never came out.
But hold on. Rakim's best songs really didn't have
Hooks.
hooks.
Right.
Microphone Thing didn't have a hook. Paid in Full didn't have a
Right.
hook. Father of a Leader didn't have a hook.
But
Juice didn't have a hook.
he's looking at it like Dre's like the artist that he was working with at that time. Eminem had hooks. 50 Cent. Even some of Kendrick stuff, even though he didn't do shit with Kendrick except for like one song. But he looking at it like, how am I gonna market Rakim to mainstream? Right? Because like he put Rakim on the Truth Hurts song and that blew up. You know what I'm saying? People remember that song because Rakim is on it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like if he on Aftermath, how am I gonna market Rakim? You on Aftermath Interscope? They want hit records, and he wasn't about that. Even though like his records are legendary because of what he was saying on them, but they don't have no hooks on them. You know what I'm saying?
So from what I gather, you're saying Dre essentially wanted
He
Rakim
wanted
to go
that
pop.
was the rumor. When I heard that, they said like partly because of him leaving Aftermath was that um they were like Rakim worth ethic and the way that he works in the studio and Dre, they were clashing. But part of it was Rakim he wasn't good with hooks. And Dre wanted hooks to promote him for like because you with the Interscope machine now. And for him to promote you to mainstream to get you on MTV, you need records that people gonna remember. Hit like hooks with hooks in them. And Nate Dogg was great at hooks. They could use Nate Dogg too, right? Remember, um, the In the Club beat. Rakim had the beat. He passed it. It was on. I think D12 had it, and then it went to Rakim, and Rakim didn't know what to do with it, so it went to 50. 50 made it
Yep.
one of his best hits.
But
Imagine Rakim on In the Club. That would have not been a big hit record for him.
Yeah. They
see,
did right by giving it to 50.
Right.
the thing that blows my mind is that if you look at the rock, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Dre wanted, you know, uh, hooks for Rakim to
Right.
make him more palatable
Accessible.
to
Right.
to a pop audience.
Yeah.
But I cannot imagine for the life of me Rakim doing a hook like In the Club.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the 18th letter having that beat and
Right.
Dre is like, hey
That,
Rakim, when you get to the hook, can you say you can find me in the club, bottle full of bub?
I
And
agree.
Rakim actually does it.
Nah.
And I
It
think
wouldn't
that's
have
why
sounded right.
Rakim knew this ain't for me because I'm not 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? But what about those songs that he made with Dre that don't have no hooks? Where they at? Will we ever hear those?
Then
And
the
he
vault,
did a
the
ton of songs
detox
with
album.
Dre. You know what I'm saying? And I know Dre got all those songs in the vault somewhere.
Yeah, like that. I think those songs are gonna die with him. Like whenever he goes, I can see
Mm-hmm.
Dre being so much of a perfectionist. He wouldn't want those songs to be heard
Yeah,
at
released.
all.
Yeah. That's what I was telling Reg the other night because he got a vault of like this shit that he's done that we may never hear. Like the Dipset the 6 song he did with Dipset, we may
The
never hear
Prince
that.
vaults. They got all types
Yeah.
of shit in there.
He
We'll
did
never
six.
hear it.
Joel even said it on the DJ Vlad interview. They when they had reunited, they did like 6 songs with Drake. We may never hear that. They hear Cameron and Jim Jones over a Dre beat. We may never hear that.
We'll never hear that Once Upon a Time in Shaolin.
You know what I'm
All
saying?
this will be dead when that come
The
out.
stuff he did with Nas when Nas was doing the stuff with Hit Boy. We saw there's a video with Nas in the studio with Dre and that he was doing stuff with Dre. We may never hear that stuff.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like it's a ton of shit that he got that we may never hear. You know,
I gotta like. I have a theory, but I believe it's because Dre is afraid of the song bombing. Like, I think he has such high expectations that if it doesn't sell like an Eminem project or it doesn't sell like a 50 Cent
yeah, but what
project,
about the crap? But he's done crap. He's done crap. You know what I'm saying? It's not
yeah.
like Eminem been putting out classics for the last decade. He's dropped crap that he was a part of. You know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
the last album that Dre actually stood behind was the Straight Outta Compton soundtrack.
And I didn't like that. I like 2 or 3 songs off of that. I didn't think it was a great album, but it got so much publicity because the movie did so well. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he had all these artists. Kendrick was on there, Anderson .Paak. You know, he didn't even do shit with Anderson .Paak, and he's on his label.
You talk about the Compton album?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I never heard it.
you know what I'm saying? Like the album now, the album that I like now, him and Marsha Ambrosius, that's a phenomenal album
I
because
haven't heard it.
he said it's like a jazz hip hop
Yeah, I
album.
gotta check that out too.
Yeah, he sampled iconic records like New York State of Mind and One Love, MC's Act Like They Don't Know. He sampled those classic records and jazzed it up for Marsha's vocals. So it's like what you're hearing is like a has like a Casablanca sound to it. So it's like jazz, but then like when the beat drops, it goes into the hip hop. And I thought, and it's all produced by Dre, and it was phenomenal.
So like a
That's the type
diggable
of Dre I
planets,
want to hear.
sort of like a diggable planets vibe. They got the jazz like tip, then they get
Nah,
into the hip hop part.
I'm thinking. I'm not even thinking jazz hip hop. I'm thinking like uh like Lena Horne, Cab Calloway meets hip hop. That type
Okay.
of shit. Like it's like
You
jazz, a
talking
jazz
about like big
album.
band?
Huh? Yeah,
You talking about big
like
band?
again jazz
Okay, that's
Okay.
cool.
and hip hop. That's what that's the type of shit he was on with that album.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because like when Marsha was talking about it, she told Dre that's the type of album that she wants to talk about, make. It was something different. That's like you don't even hear that in R&B now. Everybody in R&B sound the same. You know what I'm saying? So this is like big band jazz meets hip hop, and I thought it was phenomenal. That's the type of Dre production I want to hear. Because for a minute I wasn't hearing that. Like even like he did my bad. He did produce for Anderson .Paak. It was on Oxnard, but the production on Oxnard, it didn't sound like Dre. It was like he was trying to sound like fucking Metro Boomin or something.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? And he had like other producers help him out on that Anderson .Paak album. I didn't like none of those songs he produced on here. But this Marsha Ambrosius album, Casablanco, this sounds like Dr. Dre. This is the Dre that we all love. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that he's back now officially. You know, and
So yeah, I'm gonna check it out. Because I've been critical of Drake. For a while. Like I feel
same.
like in 2024, you got Pete Rock producing whole albums.
Yes.
Q-Tip about to produce an entire album for LL.
Yes.
Rakim produced this entire album.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Premier is going to produce Nas's album.
Yeah.
I believe it's fair to ask: has Dre been supplanted as the Don Dada of producers in rap in 2024?
Yeah. Well, but I see. I think Dre was doing that before them though. Like, remember Michelle? He produced all her shit. You know what I'm saying? And she's a great singer. Doggy Style was. Some say it was Dre with Quick, or there's other people involved, but primarily it was all Dre for Doggy Style. You know what I'm saying?
But see you. That's one of my pet peeves. And let me ask you a question. Has anybody ever said that any other producer besides RZA produced only Built for Cuban Links?
No, I never hear that about RZA. And he have the Wu Element production team with him.
Has anybody ever said any other producer besides Pete Rock produced on Mecca and the Soul Brother?
Nope.
So why is it that Dre can? I'm not saying people. Well, I'm not. Maybe I am saying he gets a pass, but it just seems like okay. Daz has said he's contributed to Doggy Style.
Well, see, I know people personally that they know Dre. They've been around Dre and all that, and they even know about he had help with Doggy Style. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking at it like when it comes to one producer, one rapper, I that goes to Dre. I think Dre was ahead of the game when it comes to that. Him and Marley Marl and people like that, Teddy Riley. You know what I'm saying? So I look at Dre like like he's done full albums for different artists. You know what I'm saying?
But have he done that for any rapper in the last 30 years?
Dr. Dre?
Yeah, have he produced an entire album for any rapper?
It's been a while. But he did the majority of like the Eminem shit, but Eminem also produced as well. But Nah, I feel like, I mean, other than, I mean, even with Chronic 2001, he had help, right? But Melman was helping him on that
Hmm.
album.
Scott Storch.
Scott Storch, right? So Scott Storch was with him for a while after he left the Roots or whatever, and so Dre had some help, just like Kanye. Kanye had help with his production, also, you know. But I think if he really wanted to, he can do it. He already proved that with the Marshall album. He can do it. It's not like it's not. I mean, he's a busy man. He was doing other endeavors, but if he really wanted to lock in the studio, he could do it. Even in 2024, I have no doubt that he could do that because he's just that great. He's proven it too many times. I think we're starting to see that again in rap where they're going to the one producer, one MC
Hmm.
format, and pairing up different producers that maybe they never worked with certain artists before. Like we never seen LL work with Q-Tip, which is mind-boggling because they both from the same borough. I don't understand that. And hopefully that's a good album because, like I said, it's the way that I felt about Eminem for a decade. It's even longer for LL because of all the shitty projects he's dropped over the last 20 something years. And I would hope so far the two songs I hear from this Q-Tip album, it's been good. I want to hear it's a 14, 15 track album though. I want to hear the full album because I'm an album nigga.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I like
Yeah,
in the 80s and 90s, you had no choice but to buy the damn album if you wanted to hear the whole project. There was no streaming and YouTube and all that. So I'm an album nigga. I want to hear the full project. Hopefully the whole project is great and we don't just get two good songs and that's it. You know what
I
I'm saying?
think you'll get
Then I
more than
could
two
say
songs.
then I could say officially
Yeah,
that LL is back. But I want to hear how the album sound though.
I ain't like them pants he was wearing in that music video a while back though. Them
Huh?
pants was weird as fuck.
You didn't like what?
He had a music video with Fat Joe and
Oh
some
yeah,
other
yeah.
dude.
I mean, that seemed to be the style. This whole long pant
I
thing.
can't be getting down with that shit,
I
man. Them
didn't. I don't
pants
see.
too
I don't like
big,
that
bro.
look.
I ain't with all this shit.
He look even weird with those pants on. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
seen
But
Lil Wayne wearing that shit. I'm like, them pants
yeah,
with your dreads, nigga. That's a ugly combination, bro.
like we've seen Evidence just came out with a new album. He produced the new Blue album, which is phenomenal. Blue in Exile. He did the production on that. We're starting to see like that format again. And P Rock been doing it for a minute. Like he's done the
Metropolitan
album.
Disguise Zoo.
Yeah, Retropolitan. He did Monumental with
Monumental
Smith
for
and
Smith and
Wesson.
Wesson.
He did Don't Smoke Rock with
Smoke
Smoke
Dizza.
Dizza. So he's been doing that for a while. Him and Muggs. Muggs been doing that for like the last 20 years. You know, and
That's a good
and
point.
I want to see. I haven't seen we haven't seen it too much with Primo. Primo done it here and there. Like he did it with Royce. He did the Bumpy Knuckles album Connections. He hasn't done it a lot though. But I think that's where we're heading. We're heading into that one producer, one MC format again.
I think with Pete Rock, I think what like Pete's in like he's in uh, the best position possible
Yeah.
because there's tangible evidence. Not only is the rappers that he's producing receiving critical acclaim and their careers are being rejuvenated,
Right.
but if I'm Pete Rock, look, like Pete Rock should be his door should be getting uh ran over. Like there should be MCs beating down his door to
All
work
right,
with.
Eric. Salute, man. Thanks for coming on with us.
Like there should be MCs beating down his door to work with him.
Yeah, I agree. And even with Pete, like there was some projects like Flea Lord was dope. I don't think he should have did a whole album with Flea Lord though, because there was
Yeah,
like I heard that album and there was nothing memorable on that album.
I think to me it seems like the idea was greater than the execution.
Yeah, and I think it was more like let me do a project with one of the newer generational MCs and for their audience they could say like like I did something with P, I did something with the greats. I think that's what it was too, but that don't mean it was good though. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
I'm glad that we got a Common and Pete Rock album. It's phenomenal. I love it. I think it's definitely gonna be one of the best albums of the year. Um, they're promoting the shit out of that album as well. Like they've been all over TV. They're doing all these summer concerts. They're going on tour. I think in September. I want to try to catch one of those shows. I know they're doing like a 3 night show over here in New York City. So I want to in October. I want to catch them on tour. I mean, I've seen Common on tour. I've seen Pete Rock, but I want to see them together.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's good for hip hop. We got real hip hop at the forefront the way it's supposed to be, and I'm loving it.
And I think it's significant that Eminem and Common shared a release date.
Right.
Like think about it. Like Eminem and Common, like as artists, they are completely divergent and different MCs in outlook, in personalities, persona.
Yeah.
But they are absolutely passionate and completely they love hip hop to the fullest.
Right.
Like I can listen. Like what I'm seeing right now, I'm seeing like a lot of people say, well, you know what, since Common came out, man, I don't gotta listen to Eminem. I hate that.
Yeah.
Like you can listen to Eminem and listen to Common.
Why not?
And there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I think, I like Common's album more than Eminem,
right.
or I like Eminem's album more than Common.
Right.
Like, and if somebody says they like The Death of Slim Shady more than Auditorium Volume 1, it's not. I don't think it's undeserving, because The Death of Slim Shady is a conceptual album. Right. It's wild and elaborate, and the rap, the MCing, it matches the hype around the album. It would be different. It would be different if, like, The Death of Slim Shady was the Quality of Revival.
Right. Oh God. I don't think I'd be able to get through it. So I'm just fortunate that I was able to get through this album.
Yeah, and there's so much meat on The Death of Slim Shady. Meaning there's so much that you can listen to and study, analyze, and really wrap yourself around. Because I think Eminem, I think what he did, especially on songs like Guilty Conscience too.
Yeah. What do you think about that? What was it a good sequel? I heard people saying they liked it. Some people felt like it could have been better. I felt like it was good. It needed Dr. Dre on there though.
I don't think Dre was needed, because Guilty Conscience 2 is it's pretty much a duel between Marshall, the man, versus Slim Shady, the evil, villainous alter ego that is taking control of Eminem, the writer. It's like Slim Shady has overpowered Marshall to the point that Marshall can't control the thoughts of Slim Shady. So I think if Dre was on it, Eminem and Dre could have easily written something that would have been compelling.
Yeah.
But I think people are saying that because Dre was on Guilty Conscience, the original.
Yeah.
But if I remember correctly, no. Dre didn't die in Guilty Conscience.
I thought he did though. That's the thing. I was like, maybe that's why he didn't come back.
No, on the original Guilty Conscience, he says to him, "Oh fuck it, slip the clip in," or something like that.
Yeah.
But he was talking to another character.
Oh, okay.
But I think, Eminem using different voices to differentiate Eminem the man from Slim Shady. But I think it would have. I think if Dre was on it, to be honest, I think it would have made it. I think it would have been one too many cooks in the kitchen.
Right. Too many.
Yeah, exactly, because the song is already elaborate and trying to fit Dre in and
Right.
try to shoehorn him
So
into it.
I'm thinking of it like maybe if Dre character came back and he's like trying to be like the peacemaker almost, or like, you know what I'm saying, like this war going on between M and Slim, and Dre's is the middleman, and he's like trying to be like the mediator between the both of them or something like that. But you're right, it might have been too many features on there.
But you know what though, knowing Eminem's mind, I could see a scenario where Eminem and some shady, kill Dre
Right.
together.
So that too. He might need a video for that.
Yeah,
I mean, because when I'm listening to the album, I'm like, the album is cinematic, where like especially like the skits, I could see Eminem doing like a mini movie for this album, and
yeah,
and just like doing different videos for different songs on the album, and including, having the characters, having the Slim Shady character on there, and Ken Kniff, and because we never seen Ken Kniff, we've heard him do the actual character, we never seen him in none of the videos though.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, this would be great for a mini film.
And like you can, and I just saw like on IG, like Eminem has Steve Berman, the the A&R for
Yeah,
Interscope. You know, Steve Berman, I believe Eminem killed Steve Berman
right.
on the album,
Yeah,
and then Steve Berman was brought to life. So Eminem can put out a deluxe with him alive in it.
wow.
So and Eminem, he's thinking about marketing, like the whole rollout for his album. It
Mhm.
started months ago with that, uh, uh, with that X Files looking, clip, of
Yeah,
of some of the crime scene,
yeah,
and then the clips got even more creepier, but it was done by design, and
right.
I think um, Eminem has the resources. He can make a video for every song on this album. He
Yeah,
can
of
make a
course he could.
long drawn out. He can make
Definitely.
a long drawn out movie. And
Yeah,
when you got 50 Cent, you know, uh, 50 Cent, he can probably pitch in and throw some resources to make it happen.
right.
Like there's no telling what M could do.
I like, even like from the first song from Renaissance, it started cinematically. I could picture that being like the opening scene in the film
Hmm.
with the his spitting on the grave and all that,
Yeah,
and from the opening like to the end, I'm like, this could play out as a mini film. Like if he did like a deluxe edition of the album and include like, because I know he did a shitload of bonus songs, and then you have like a mini film to go with it, or you put it out on on streaming. You know what I'm saying? And I
yeah,
think cinematically it would be even better. You know?
Another thing is like he has there's several songs with the satanic theme. Like he can make like Antichrist and Lucifer like
Yeah.
a side, like
Yes.
a side A, side B
Yeah.
thing.
Antichrist with
Where
Bizarre. I love that song. I think Bizarre outshined him on at the end of that song. I think Bizarre outshined him, and I've never said that about Bizarre outshining Eminem.
I had the same thought because
Yeah.
I haven't like I haven't like we haven't heard Bizarre on an Eminem related project in what
Right.
20 years,
Yep.
and the things that he's saying, especially about Megan,
Yeah.
like only M and Bizarre would think to say some things like that, and and it's very uh, descriptive. It's very gory. It's very creepy, and it's everything that Vedek Slim Shady is about. And
There's a
like
line. There's a line where he said, what's the line? He said, my rent, my girl need an abortion. What you gonna do? Sold the Eminem Jordans. Remember, that's the reference to the Eminem Jordans that he had out for a minute,
oh yeah, the
like years
Jordan
ago.
Forest.
Yeah, and them shits is like expensive now online, and you know what I mean. And I just felt like to hear Bizarre outshine Eminem on his own shit was just crazy. You know, and then
It,
Eminem was like taking shots at Diddy and he had like the kids singing on the chorus and shit. That I'm like, yo, that could be a hilarious video.
and like Bizarre, he does like his flow is very slow,
Yeah,
but just the like the shock value was higher with Bizarre for some reason
yeah,
than M, because with M you expect him to take shots at Diddy,
right.
like you expect him to take certain shots at at Meg, but Bizarre, it was almost like he had been waiting 20 years for this opportunity.
Right. That's true. And even Bizarre got new music that's out too. He got like a couple new vids that came out and all that.
Oh yeah, most
You know
definitely.
what I
And
mean? So I'm like, yo, this is the perfect time. That's a good promotion for
alley
every
oop,
new project. Yeah,
it's like a great alley oop,
yeah,
and I think it was dope that M had Bizarre on
yeah.
Antichrist.
He's been loyal to his peoples from day one. I like that. You know what I'm saying? And he even had Mr. Porter produce some stuff on here as well. So
And Royce was on Music to Be Murdered By
yeah.
on 3 songs.
Hmm.
So I like that. Like you said, that no one can say that Eminem didn't look out for the people
Right,
that he came up with.
right, right. That's the way it should be. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you make it, you want to put your peoples on too.
Exactly.
And he's done that. You know what I'm saying? Detour. I love Detour's first album. Devil's
Oh, that
Night.
was
That's
nice.
that's classic. You
Yo,
know?
I got that on a cassette
Yeah.
somewhere. Like it's I would have to reach for it.
No.
But yeah, like I got I like Devil's Night more than D12 World.
Yeah. Detour World I got too, but I haven't heard the whole thing. I know some of the songs, but yeah, Devil's Night was just great though. Like the production was dope. They all came with it on lyrically. M was just in his bag on that one. You
And
know.
and to me I feel like Eminem's best rapping was on Fight Music.
Yeah.
Because
That's pretty good.
if you listen to his verse on Fight Music
Mhm.
and then listen to his verses on Renegade,
Yeah.
it seems like they was written around the same time,
Right.
because he's going at parents of he's going at at parents that criticize him for his music.
Right.
He's going at the church, and going at priests, and going at people that he considers to be hypocrites.
Right. Right.
And and that was a snapshot of where he was post Marshall Mathers LP.
Right. Yep. But I want to wrap this up, man. We've been on for like 2 hours, close to 3 hours. This was great as always. I love having these discussions with you, Raka. It's always a pleasure having you on. You gotta always, anytime you want to come back, let's go live. You know what I mean?
No doubt. And I'm glad. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
And I had a lot to say, and I thank you for letting me express myself.
Yeah. No doubt.
Uh, I haven't really been on uh, social media that much.
Right.
I had to take some time to myself.
True.
So I'm just thankful that I was able to talk hip hop,
No doubt.
and talk a little talk about some heavy issues in the process.
Yeah.
Because it's more than hip hop with me.
Yeah.
Like especially in America, a lot of the issues we talked about, it affects us uh, one way or the other.
Right.
Whether you um, pitch your support behind one candidate over another. If you um, if you live in America, especially if you're black, you know, is almost uh, it's important, to at least, take take other people's point of view,
Yeah,
into consideration,
definitely.
because we don't know everything. We're infallible. Like if I could learn something, from you, you can learn something from me.
Yeah.
It only broadens our uh, our points of view.
Oh yeah,
It broadens our knowledge base, and we're all in this together.
definitely.
Like like the Dog Pound album. We all we got
Definitely.
at this point.
Yes, we got facts, and I said like when I started the channel, like, I don't just want to talk about music. I mean, it is dedicated to like my interest and things that I came up in, but also to have these the type of discussions when it comes to the community and social issues as well. So
Absolutely.
you know what I mean. It has to happen. It's needed because there's times when I don't want to talk about music. You know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
and it's like let me go live and talk about what's going on in the world. How do people feel about the candidates running for for the presidency? You know what I mean? So yeah, that those conversations have to happen.
And and also the things that I read aren't always music related.
Right.
Like sometimes I'll read a book, especially about an historical figure,
Yeah.
and then after maybe 30 minutes to an hour after I'm done reading it, I look at so many things with a different lens, like things that I was you know interested in or thought was really important aren't that important. So
Right.
reading is just as important. And
Yep.
if you don't think reading is not important, just look at some of the people that you see in the streets, and just see where their lives are.
Right. Yeah. I definitely agree with you, man. Reading and writing is definitely important, especially for our people.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, um, I like having those type of discussions where we don't just talk about hip hop, but we could talk about things that's going on in the world without being trendy and minus all the gossip. I left the platform, bro, from doing all that shit because that's the direction they want to go in. They want to talk about trendy topics and TMZ shit. I'm like, not with me. You know what I'm
And,
saying?
and
I'm not
not with
about
me
that.
either.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I could care less about Sexy Red, and there's nothing nostalgic about that. You
I
know?
feel I feel like I feel like after a certain age, man, like you should be embarrassed even saying that you're you know talking about that. Like that's for that's for like teenage girls.
Right. Exactly. Like as grown men doing chatty patty shit, it's like I'm not about that. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Yeah,
even listen to none of these artists. I don't know none of these songs. So why would I want to talk about Ice Spice? You
yeah.
know?
That to me that's like teenagers that have like the pinup
Yeah.
posters,
Yeah.
like
And the thing is, it's sad because I'm seeing too many of our people have dedicated their platforms to that trendiness. They're like they
yeah,
want to be. They say they for the culture, but they want to dedicate their content to what the trendiest, scandalous, salacious news is out there, and it's like I don't care. I'm like, because a lot of these people that are famous are not famous for their actual music. They're famous for who they sleeping with or who they, what ratchet shit they did in public or who they got beef with. And those are the ones that not gonna be. They're not gonna be around in 10 years.
and there's places that you can see that kind of stuff. They call porn sites.
Right.
Like
You know.
I'm that I'm not on
But
that time.
but
Like
it's like they do that to they want to chase the bag because that's what they feel like is going to get them paid is let's talk about the most salacious gossip that's out today because they feel like that's going to get their numbers up and get their chase the bag and it's like but you're sacrificing your integrity and this culture for chasing the bag and I'm not about that. So and it's like I told this to Reg the other night. I had a whole rant on his stream that I don't want to do shit with no platform that's about that. If it's not about this culture and giving the knowledge to these young generations coming up, and informing them of what breakdancing is, and the elements of hip hop and their legends, then don't bother to hit me up, because I don't want to do shit like that. You know
because
what I'm
there's
saying?
because there's enough 50, 60 year olds that act like teenagers,
Exactly,
that talk like teenagers
exactly.
enough.
You know what I'm saying? It's like society has switched. It's like the older heads are supposed to be like, setting a an example for the younger heads. They're the ones acting like them. You know what I'm saying? And I blame it's the trend, the gossip that's out there. That a lot of older heads what like hearing shit about that. They like hearing about Sexy Red in the News and Ice Spice and all these other no talent motherfuckers. It's like, I'm not about that. I'm very old school. That's what I'm sticking to. You know what I'm saying? Like, without that, hip hop wouldn't be here for 51 years. You know what I'm saying? If hip hop suddenly went all, gossip and salacious, there would be no hip hop no more. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta stay true to myself in this culture, and what this culture is what raised me. When I didn't have a dad in my life. You know what I'm saying? When I, that prevented me from being in prison, and being on the corner selling drugs. And what would I look like turning my back on the culture to talk about salacious shit like Sexy Red? You know what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
like, if they want to do that for the bag, that's good for them. That's not for me.
Yeah, and like you said, like when like my dad, like my dad was a man's man. I could not imagine him. I couldn't imagine him asking me about uh, Lil Kim back in the day.
Exactly. you know, even back then there was an issue with Kim and Foxy. Like, what? They got the
Exactly.
most. They got the most shade.
Especially like from the older black women.
Hmm.
You know, especially like um, working class women,
Yeah.
like that, like that's not real womanhood. Like they would, they totally took Lil
If I
Kim and
had
Foxy to the woodshed.
if I had the Little Kim hardcore poster, promo poster of her like bending down, if I had that
Mhm.
on my wall, my mother would have gave me the most illest side eye ever. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
she like my mom would have took that poster down.
She would have
She,
given the most illest side eye. Like you know what I'm saying? And they got the most shade back then, because all the women were like, oh well, you're not you're not on Queen Latifah, time, or MC Light, and you're showing nothing but skin. But they had talent. You know what I'm saying? They had
yeah,
talent. They had the respect of the hip hop community. These chicks don't now. It's like they're just doing anything for attention. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if I had I can't even imagine myself having a kid in this era, because I would be like, yo, even though I had very limited boundaries on the shit that I could listen to. I would be a crazy parent, and I wouldn't want to be one of them parents where I gotta put all kind of boundaries on my kid in this day and age. And it's unfortunate, but look at the shit that's out there. You know what I'm
and,
saying? Look at
and,
the shit that's out there. It's like, I feel really bad for these kids coming up now, man.
and Kim and Foxy, they were pioneers. Like up to that point, you didn't see you didn't see female rappers that dress sexually provocatively like that.
Right.
Like she, like Lil Kim was the rap version of Madonna.
Facts.
As far as being uh, you know scantily clad and arousing a lot of anger and controversy about her lyrics and her
Right.
style of dress.
Facts.
Now it's standard.
Facts.
Like once something becomes standard, then it becomes cliche and it loses all meaning.
Yeah. It's just crazy, bro. And I'm just like, man, I can't do it. So I will always be true to this culture and myself, with people with great heads like yourself and Reg and Mike, Rayshawn, Eric. Thank you for coming through and spending some time with us on here. And I'm back to doing my own platform because I've been neglecting my platform for like 2 years, and I realized I can't do that no more. I got to get back to doing my platform first and foremost. So every week y'all gonna see this handsome face, and I'm gonna definitely be dropping more vids coming up, and I'll do another live stream next week. Maybe I'll do two, depending on how I feel. But thank you, Raka, for being here as always, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back next week.
Thank you, Trap Bro. It's
Yeah.
been real. And everybody, stay blessed and stay black.
Peace.